Good evening from a root field on the campus of Central Connecticut State University. It's the ECAC Division III Football Bowl Championships. We wrap up the weekend with the Robert M. Scotty Whitelaw Bowl. The Fitchburg State Falcons against the Alfred University Saxons. Here at Central Connecticut State University.
Well, two great teams coming into this final game. Again, this is Game 6, and we've been here all week since Friday, getting some great action on the Division III level. I'm excited to see these two teams play.
For Alfred, let's start with the quarterback, Tyler Johnson. He's versatile.
And he's probably going to be the best quarterback we've seen all week. 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, doing a great job finding the right guy and keeping his offense on pace.
For Fitchburg State, they have a terrific linebacker, a gentleman by the name of Luis Feliz.
And he's done a great job all season long. The way he's able to play on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, I love that about his game, but how well he's able to conduct himself in coverage will be the key.
The weekend wraps up with this ball game between Alfred University and Fitchburg State. Coming up next on ECACSports.tv. Welcome back to a root field, Central Connecticut State University. Seth Cantor, Emory with you. The final bowl game of the weekend, the Robert M. Scotty Whitelaw Bowl Championship. Alfred University of the Empire 8, a 7-3 record. Fitchburg State University of the ECAC, an 8-2 record this season. Emory, this wraps up what was a fun weekend of football. Still one game to go between these teams.
I've had a lot of fun all week long, just doing the broadcast with you, being with the production staff, and just seeing these great programs at the Division III level get out here and compete for a bowl championship.
Well, Alfred won the toss. They'll defer until the second half. That seems to be the popular move this weekend.
Get that defense out there right away, set the tone. Then you get your offense out there, and then hopefully they can capitalize on what you were able to do defensively.
As you take a look at this matchup, the teams see their records, both solid seasons. Both teams can score. And in terms of passing, Fitchburg a little more pass-heavy than Alfred. Alfred a bit more balanced in their approach.
And you just like the offensive balance of both these squads, but Fitchburg State being able to throw for nearly 300 yards a game while also getting over 140 a game, that tells you right off the bat that their offense is definitely explosive. But you look at Alfred, 24 takeaways. Defense does a great job getting the ball back for their own offense.
At the national anthem, we'll step aside right here. You're watching ECAC football on ECACSports.tv. And we're back on a root field. Seth Cantor and Emory Hunt with you. We get set to go Fitchburg State University and Alfred University as we wrap up the weekend. Let's just talk about what's occurred here since Friday. It started with the Clayton Chapman Bowl Championship. Salve Regina beat Husson 42-32. On Friday, the President's Bowl King beat Worcester Polytechnic 24-6. On Saturday, the James Lyon Bowl, Westminster beat St. John Fisher 42-21. Yesterday, in the Asa S. Bushnell Bowl Championship, RPI beating Buffalo State 20-13. And in the Legacy Bowl, Carnegie Mellon earlier today, all over Bridgewater State University by a score of 48-13. Well, we're set to go here as the kick bounces into the end zone, and Fitchburg State will start on its own 20.
Looks like an injury on the field on the opening kickoff. Well, he's a little woozy. That's not a good look.
I'll touch back. Get set to go. Take a look at the player out there. For Fitchburg, it looks as if Mackenzie Cashin. I said the 20, excuse me, the 25. That's where we start, as Cashin will be helped off the field. Fitchburg State, led by the quarterback Garrett Delkey. Take a look at their starters in a moment. Jordan Almore, the featured back for this Fitchburg State team. First down and 10, Fitchburg State at its own 25-yard line. Team that averaged 29 points per game during the regular season. Delkey will throw. He'll scramble, gets out of the tackle, and makes his way to the 29-yard line. Now Zach Pierre on the offensive line, along with Robert Braun, Maxwell Chavone, James Verrat, and Brandon Willis. There's the starters on the line. Jordan Almore, as mentioned, the starting tailback. Wide receivers, Taylor Ekstrom, Trayvon Neal, Ty Spencer. Devin Samil, a terrific tight end, and the starting quarterback, Garrett Delkey. Second down and 8. Here's the handoff. Almore out near the 30-yard line. Small gain on the play. As you take a look at this Fitchburg State team, Emory, what do they need to do to win this ball game here this evening?
Well, you look at the balance that they have offensively. I think it's going to be important that they lean on that defensive line of Alfred, try to wear these guys down physically, and then seize the opportunities on the defensive side of the football. Take some chances back there in the secondary, try to pick off a pass or two, and get the ball back to your offense. And I think they also have to win on the perimeter on both sides of the ball. Third
down and 4 for Fitchburg State. Delkey will throw into the flat. The catch made outside the 30 towards the 35-yard line. The reception for Ty Spencer, the senior. Very close to a first down, but not enough. Fitchburg has to punt.
But a nice tempo to start the game. You see these guys going east and west and then work in the middle of the field in the running game, doing a lot early on, which means they're trying to wear down this Alfred defensive front seven by making them cover the entire field.
Chris Ludwig punting for Fitchburg State, averaging 37 yards per punt. Returning for Alfred, Gavidia. It's a low kick. It bounces. Gavidia trying to get away from the tackle, but can't do so. However, Alfred will start with good field position in this game. As you take a look at this Alfred team, Emory, what stands out to you?
Well, you just look at how well they can move the football, and I think their offensive line can't have an off day. They have to make sure they get the protection up front. They get the offensive line to do what they have to do to win, and also they have to continue stellar red zone play. That's crucial. They've done a great job scoring touchdowns in the red zone, and I would say you have to make their quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket, and I'm talking about Fitchburg State's quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket.
Tyler Johnson takes a high snap, and the play blown up in the backfield. Casey Bright loses a couple of yards. Mahmoud Sam with the tackle for Fitchburg State. We'll give you the Alfred offense. Kevin Lamarck, Sonny Caruso, Sean Murphy, Trey Beltran, Nicholas Charlock on the line. Wide receivers, Brendan Bish, Malik Fuentes, Mike Bryant, the tight end. Johnson steps up. He'll throw. Incomplete. Fired deep downfield. Missed his intended receiver, Bryant, by a mile. Joe Ryan, a fullback in this Alfred offense. Now it's a third down at 11 for the Saxons out of the Empire 8.
See right there, Tyler Johnson, not afraid to take shots down the field. 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. You saw the deep shot on that previous play. Accuracy hasn't been his strong suit so far this season and early on. You see right there, just missing the deep seam route to the tight end.
Spread formation, Bish wide left. Johnson, three-step drop in the pocket, dumps it off, pass juggled, incomplete. Fuentes couldn't hang on, fourth down.
Yeah, good 3 and out right now by the defense of Fitchburg State. The Falcons playing a lot of man, so they're trusting their guys on the corners. They're running with these receivers across the field and was able to get the stop, a crucial stop very early in this game on third down.
Taylor Ekstrom back to return the punt along with Steven Vasquez. Joe McMahon on to punt. I heard timeout based on our crowd mic that's positioned just beneath us, off to the left in the front row. Here comes the official Mark Mesnick. Let's see. There was a timeout called. Question is who signaled for it. Nonetheless, an early timeout. Not something you want to do in the early moments of the game because those timeouts are precious.
Especially when you look at the pace of this game so far. We're only less than 3 minutes in, and you see a lot of up-tempo, a lot of fast pace going on both sides. Defense has to hurry up and get set. Offense getting to the line of scrimmage and running a quick play. So you want to save those timeouts because you're going to need that later on in this ball game. In this half.
Joe McMahon set to punt. He's averaged 37 yards per punt this year. We're scoreless in the opening minutes. The Scotty Whitelaw Bowl Championship between Alfred and Fitchburg State. Fitchburg State, northwest of Boston, near the Massachusetts border. Alfred due south of Rochester, New York, in the state's southern tier. McMahon steps into the punt. A spiraling kick. It bounces, takes an Alfred bounce, rolls inside the 20, and it's downed right there by the Saxons. Second offensive possession of the game coming up for Fitchburg State. Let's give you the Alfred defense. They run a 4-3. Charles Brandwell, Mike Steffen, Dave Carloni, and Joey Hale. Holden Whitehead, Corey Wallace, A.J. Licata are the linebackers. Shaheem Wingate, Jared Watkins, Mike Berardi, and Ryan Harvey in the secondary. First down for Fitchburg State. They're at their own 16-yard line. Delkey out of a shotgun with a man in motion. Takes the snap. Here's the handoff. It's Jordan Almore. Out to the 21-yard line, 5-yard gain. There's a flag on the play. It was thrown at the 19. Here comes Mark Mesnick. Face mask called on Alfred, 15 yards, automatic first down.
I like the ability to spread the field and still have the chance to run downhill. That's what you're seeing right now from Fitchburg State. They're spreading the field wide and still able to run inside between those two guards, and I think it's going to be successful because, again, spacing is important, and you're seeing them right now just playing the numbers game inside the box.
Delkey, 25 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions this year. Takes the snap. Here's the handoff, shifty move by Almore, and he's tackled at the 38-yard line, 2-yard gain.
A good job right there by Holden Whitehead making the stop inside, getting off a block, and making a stop on the running back for a short gain.
Alfred spreads it out defensively out of a shotgun. Delkey takes the snap, thought about throwing, scrambles, running laterally, airs it out down the left sideline, incomplete. All right, to throw on the run there, the intended receiver was Ty Spencer, the senior. It's a third down.
Yeah, Delkey did a great job right there, not pulling the trigger too quickly and not forcing a bad throw. Just waited, bought time in the pocket, got outside, and took a shot downfield.
Almore stays in as the tailback. 3 receivers right, 1 left for Fitchburg State. Scoreless game, just over 3 minutes gone by, opening quarter on a root field, the final game of the weekend. Delkey being chased from behind, races out of the pocket, Great footwork, has a first down right to midfield. Terrific move by Delkey, a gain of 12 yards.
Silky smooth Delkey getting it done on the ground with his legs. And if he's going to have that chance to get those first downs with his mobility, the passing game is going to open up. It's going to frustrate this Alfred defense. You see right here, no one's open. He takes off right down the middle of that defensive line, making guys miss and picking up the first down in the process.
Holden Whitehead the tackle. You have to respect Delkey's ability to run. He has 4 touchdown runs this year, 257 yards. First down and 10 for Fitchburg State at midfield. Delkey back to throw. Being chased. Throws over the middle. Incomplete. Pass intended for Andrew Minton. Actually, that was Ekstrom, excuse me.
Good job overall. Defensively, they're sitting in a nice zone coverage, and what they're asking each other to do is to communicate. They're passing guys off. You saw the outside corner pass that route off to the inside safety, and he was able to be in great position to disrupt the timing of that pass.
Second and 10 from the 50. We're scoreless. 11:19 remaining in the opening quarter. Delkey threw for just over 2,700 yards this year. Out of the shotgun, takes the snap. Almore stops at midfield, no gain, third down.
Well, when you're a run-based offense like we've seen so far, just from what we've seen on film from Alfred, you should be able to stop the run. And that's why I'm not surprised that their defensive line is doing a great job right now, owning the line of scrimmage, beating blocks, and slowing down this ground game. So they're trying to make Fitchburg State one-dimensional and force these guys to throw the football more often than they want to. They want to operate with balance, and if they can't run the football, they won't have that opportunity later on in the game.
Stephan with the tackle. Third down and 10 from midfield. Delkey out of a shotgun, man in motion to the near side. Alfred loading up at the line. Delkey, quick drop, throws, deflected, incomplete. The Saxons thought they had the interception. It was Corey Wallace with the deflection, couldn't hang on, fourth down.
Yeah, that's very smart, intelligent middle linebacker play right there. Just watching the eyes of the quarterback and getting in between the receiver and the football and knocking it down, nearly coming away with the interception. See right here on the replay, just a great job recovering and batting the football down, and one heck of an effort almost coming up with the INT.
Gavidia to return. The punt from Ludwig. Good kick. High, spiraling, deep kick. Gavidia fields it at the 11. Gets through a tackle. Races laterally. Doesn't get much. He's stopped at the 14-yard line. Alfred starts deep in their own territory.
I love punt returns because you have the opportunity. I used to call it a situation where it's almost like you're one man versus 22, whether it's your guys or the opposing team. You just got to make guys miss and find your way to the end zone. I just think that when you're a punt returner, that adrenaline rush just hits you right when you receive the football, and you always are in a position where you can make guys miss and have a lot of fun.
Tyler Johnson back to the field, completed 54% of his passes during the regular season. Like to see that number just a little bit higher. The junior from East Syracuse, New York. Casey Bright, the tailback. Option for the quarterback, Johnson. Takes it himself to the 16-yard line. Small gain on first down. We're scoreless here. Opening minutes. The Scotty Whitelaw Bowl Championship. Seth Cantor, Emory Hunt, our entire PAC Network crew. Alec Palmer and his crew doing a fantastic job burning the midnight oil throughout the weekend.
Absolutely.
We each head back to our respective destinations after this game. It's certainly been a fun experience doing this for the first time. Johnson will throw. Now being chased. Walking a tightrope on the sideline. Doesn't have much room. And he's taken out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Did manage to get 2 yards, though.
I was about to say, not a bad play by Johnson. Again, I saw what he was looking at. They had 2 crossers coming over the middle of the field, one shallow crosser, one deep over route. He wanted to take the shot, but he didn't like the passing window that was in his face, so he tried to make that defender miss, ended up picking up positive yards in the process. You see right here, shallow cross coming over, deeper in route behind it. Couldn't trust the passing window, didn't take the sack, didn't throw an interception. Positive gain, so that's an A-plus play right there by Johnson.
Johnson can run. 544 yards during the regular season. Also ran for 9 touchdowns as a flag comes in.
Yeah, that positive play is being nullified by a false start right here.
3rd and 5 turns into a 3rd down and 10. Alfred, 57 yards per game in penalties this year. Second fewest mark in the Empire 8. Saw Buffalo State College of the Empire 8 lose to RPI yesterday, 20-13. So it's 3rd down and 10. We're scoreless here as we approach the 9-minute mark in the opening quarter. Johnson out of a shotgun, 3 receivers left, 1 near side right. Takes the snap. He's going to try to throw it and scrambles out of pressure. Loses the football. Johnson grabs it, races past the 20, and he's taken out at the 23-yard line. That was a 9-yard gain. Well, give Tyler Johnson credit. He made something out of nothing there. But Johnson a yard shy of the first down, and Alfred punts.
Yeah, it looked like big numbers 93, Citric Wofford, able to get that big pawn in and knock it out right there. That's a heck of a play by the freshman. He was getting blocked, reached back, grabbed the football, and was able to disrupt it. Otherwise, Johnson probably would have picked up that first down.
Ekstrom and Vasquez will await the punt from Joe McMahon. 4th and a yard. Alfred deep in their own territory, so they have to kick. There's a boomer. That's going to drive Ekstrom back. This is taking an Alfred bounce, but Ekstrom's going to field it outside the 20-yard line, doing a lot of dancing, and he stopped at the 20-yard line. That's where Fitchburg State begins.
Yeah, good opening series of defensive play by both teams. Now, which offensive squad can get into gear right away will be the difference, because we've seen both defenses be aggressive. They played with their great athleticism. We've seen a lot of speed, team defense, guys flying around to the football. Neither offense has been able to get in gear so far.
Now Fitchburg starts deep in their own territory. Almore the tailback. Delikai from Leominster, Missouri, out of a shotgun, takes the snap. Shifty move and tackled outside the 20 to the 21-yard line. It's the tailback. It was actually Sterling Garvin, a freshman running back. He'll stay in the game.
Yeah, good one-on-one play right there in space, and that's going to be the biggest key. What happens when teams spread you out? They force your linebackers and alley defenders, your safeties, to make those plays consistently in space, and Alfred has definitely done that so far.
Neal, Spencer, and Ekstrom are the receivers. Here's the snap, a handoff out to the 25-yard line was Garvin.
And right now, Fitchburg State is working the middle of that defense, but they're not having success. So what you can do to complement that or supplement that, you can get the short passing game going, maybe some bubble screens to try to loosen up that interior and then come back to it. But right now, Alfred has done a fabulous job playing great run defense, especially on the inside.
Jordan Almore comes back into the game. Garvin heads to the bench. 3rd down and 4 from the 25-yard line. We're scoreless, just past the halfway point in the first quarter. Delkiai over the middle, incomplete. Oh, that was tipped by the intended wide receiver. It was Samil, the tight end, who's had a terrific season. 712 yards, 11 touchdowns on the season. However, Fitchburg State has to punt.
Yeah, nice play design here by offensive coordinator Devin Gates, who played at Fitchburg State. You see 2 shallow crossers, and what happens is you get guys running back across the field, vacating areas, creating an open space. Just wasn't able to connect on the pass, but that was great play design and a great way to influence defenders.
Ludwig to punt, Gavidia to return. A spiraling kick. Gavidia fields it at the 42-yard line. Heads to the near sideline, trying to get through tacklers, and he stopped just shy of midfield. At the 48-yard line, good field position for Alfred.
Yeah, great field position. You want the offense to find its way getting into gear, and I think they have to find a way to run the football. We've seen them try to throw it early on, and they haven't had success. Maybe try running the football on this drive, on this series against the Falcons.
Flag came in. Let's see, did we have offsetting penalties? I only caught the second half of that from Mark Mesnick, the official. They're keeping the ball. Let's see. Return ended up at the 48-yard line. It's a personal foul against Alfred, so it's a 15-yard penalty. Back Alfred up from the 48 to the 33. 6:55 remaining, opening quarter. We're scoreless. Both teams kind of feeling each other out here. Not much action just yet.
And you expect Alfred to start to try to run downhill. They have a lot of size up front, especially on the inside. So I would expect them to go more with their downhill running game on this series.
Offset eye left. Johnson hands it off. Nice run across for 40. Out to the 41-yard line. Darrell Hunter, running backs.
And that's what you have to get to. You got 7 yards on first down, right down the middle. Nice little inside, lead play. And so these are little small things that you can do to get your offense in the groove.
Errol Bennett, the tackle for Fitchburg State. Alfred offensively this year, 27 points per game, and they're second to last in their league in scoring. Tells you about the Empire 8. 347 yards per game of offense. That's also second to last in their league. Kind of a misnomer. The Empire 8, there are 9 teams in the league. As Darrell Hunter gets a nice run across the 45 to the 46. 6-yard gain, first down.
Man, you can't run the football if you're not getting movement up front. And this offensive line of the Saxons have done a great job on this series just moving guys off the point. They ran inside. Now they did a little stretch play on this particular run and getting the edge and allowing the running back to cut right back inside, picking up positive yards.
Malcolm Brown-Simpson to tackle. Fresh set of downs for the Saxons. First down at 10 at their own 46-yard line. Johnson will throw on the run. Nice catch at the 50, across the 50 for Alfred University. It was Malik Fuentes with the reception.
And we know how explosive Fuentes is for this offense, getting him the football in space, allowing him to make one miss, making it seem like a punt return type situation, I think could help this offense get going with a big play in the passing game. But right now, I like the pace. I like what they're doing. And there you see they're moving the football as a result.
Teron Seaforth Howard with the tackle after an 8-yard gain. Backs to either side of Tyler Johnson on a second down and 2. We're scoreless here in the first quarter, 5:23 remaining. Johnson takes it himself, and he's smashed at the 45-yard line. Shy of the first down. Did get a yard, though. Brings up a third down and short for the Saxons.
Now you keep chipping away. You make it third manageable. You trust your offensive line. You see right here, nice zone fake and just run right down the A-gap. Great response by the defense of the Falcons.
Luis Feliz, who we talked about in the pregame part of that play, as well as Quinton Privet. Mamu Sam on the tackle as well. Third down and 1. Alfred at the Fitchburg State 45-yard line inside the 5-minute mark, opening quarter of the Scotty Whitelaw Bowl Championship. Play clock down to 2. Johnson has to get a play off. He does. Here's the curl around the line. Fuentes has a first down and more. Fuentes tackled inside the 35-yard line to the 33.
Love the jet sweep in that situation because everyone is focused on the inside run because you've had success running the football inside. 3rd and 1, you expect these guys to go inside. They hit you with the jet sweep, get the football in the hands of one of their top playmakers in Fuentes. They just made it look like a punt, like I mentioned before, and he was able to make guys miss in space and pick up the first down.
Usman Sam with the tackle. First down and 10. Alfred, its best drive of this game. Johnson from the shotgun as the Saxons look to take the lead. Shifty move by the running back, Darrell Hunter, out near the sideline. And he's driven out of bounds.
Yeah, good job right there by the defense of the Falcons. You look at the linebacker, Errol Bennett, getting in on a tackle, not getting shook in space. See right here, number 62 outside, gave outside contain away. Defensive end was able to turn him inside, thus creating the lane for the linebacker to make the play.
Asante Easter started it defensively for Fitchburg. After a gain of a yard, empty backfield, Johnson looking to the sideline for the play. Robert Rankel, the second season. He's been on the sidelines, the head coach. Here's the handoff. They once again run it to Fuentes. Fuentes inside the 30-yard line. The ball pops loose. At a sea of humanity at the 30-yard line. Fitchburg State says they have it. Let's see. The sideline erupting. I still haven't seen a call from Mark Mesnick yet. The Fitchburg fans going crazy. And, yes, now I see the call. Fitchburg State recovers the fumble.
Yeah, Trey Watson came up with that football. Linebacker, senior, 6 feet, 205. Just not giving up on a play. Fighting through a block and stripping the football and also recovering it, digging it out of the pile, coming away with the rock. You got to like that effort by the defense of the Falcons.
So after Alfred had its best offensive drive of the game, the Saxons turned it over. And Fitchburg State now an opportunity to take the lead. It kind of reminds you of the early rounds of a long boxing match, the way these teams are feeling each other out.
Exchanging body blows in the first parts of the rounds.
The handoff on first down. goes to Garvin.
Right now, you're getting good front seven play by the Alfred Saxons, and you also look on their side of the football, the offensive side of the ball, their O-line is dominating up front. And so, as a byproduct, what you have to do, if you're Fitchburg State, you have to neutralize that power with speed. So they have to go more to the outside if they want to have success.
Delkey out of his shotgun. Quick slant. Here's the handoff. Wow. Blistering hit. Upended was Garvin.
Yeah, good thing you have a helmet on because the bounce on your head, that was Dime BB-like for the old school football guys. Remember that reference. But, again, great influence play. They try to get these guys to rush upfield, create space, but just a great job of recovering by the Saxons defense.
Neal, along with Spencer, Ekstrom, 3 of the 4 wide receivers. Here's a quick pass to the sideline, and the catch made. Nice reception by Ty Spencer.
And short of the line of gain, so it's going to be 4th down and short once again. They force another punt. So Fitchburg State's defense is doing – Alfred's defense is doing their job, and they just need their offense not to shoot themselves in the foot. Now, what you saw in the first series and on the second series, you saw their offensive line start to dominate up front and set the tone. Can they put together a longer drive and put points on the board?
Ludwig to punt. Gavidia to return. Low snap. Ludwig plays it off the bounce. It's a low-end over-end kick. That snap definitely hurt. Takes a minimal Fitchburg State bounce. Alfred starts at their 0-39. UA is the official hydration and performance partner of the 2015 ECAC Division III Football Championships. UA is changing the game with sports-specific performance formulas for soccer, football, basketball, not to mention baseball and softball. Visit them at their location here at Arute Field for a free sample today, or learn more at playbetter.com. That's play-better.com. Be you. Play better. Alfred with the ball. Offset eye left. Tyler Johnson comes out after the Saxons turnover. Good defensive stand by Alfred, forcing Fitchburg State to punt. Casey Bright runs it up the gut, and he's driven back. At the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Yeah, heck of a job right there by defensive tackle Quentin Prevot, who just probably picked up a penalty for the shove back. Referee will always see the retaliation. They won't see what started the fracas, but they'll see who responded to it. But Prevot is a guy at 6 feet, 285, one of your bigger defensive linemen, was in on that stop.
3 flags came in fast. Mark Mesnick making the call, personal foul. Called out Fitchburg State, a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And you see just the sheer power of Prevot on that play, just stonewalling the offensive lineman, got penetration and also made a tackle, and also drew the flag from pushing number 3 in the chest in front of the referee. If you're going to, if you're going to commit penalties, don't do it in front of the referee. And I'm not advocating for penalty making, but if you are going to make penalties, don't do it in front of the ref.
Moves Alfred to the 45-yard line of Fitchburg State. They had a terrific drive on their last sequence, and it ended in a fumble. Let's see if the Saxons can capitalize here and score first. 1:05 remaining in the opening quarter. Tyler Johnson out of his shotgun. 2 receivers right, 2 left. The tailback, Casey Bright from Pulaski, New York. Here's a quick line drive pass. Almost intercepted by Fitchburg State. Out on the far sideline. That was a dangerous play.
Yeah, David DeZeem did a great job baiting Tyler Johnson. They forced him to throw into a trap defense where it looked as if the outside corner was bailing in cover 3, but he really sat on that route like a cover 2 corner and nearly picked it off and went back the other way.
Sophomore defensive back David Desame cutting off that angle and coming up with an interception.
Yeah, Desame played that perfectly. Again, got them to throw into a trap defense. Almost cost them on that play if you're Alfred.
2nd down and 10. Johnson backs to both sides. Play clock down to 3. Handoff, Bright running the sweep out towards the sideline. Has a head of steam. First down as he's driven out of bounds.
A great job turning the corner if you're Bright. One thing that's important about what they're doing right now, Casey Bright showing the speed and quickness getting to the outside, but when you have a tight end that's aligned in line, you're going to be a lot more physical at the point than your opponent, and that's why it's important for these guys to establish their running game early, and that's why they're having a lot of success right now.
13-yard gain, Desame with the tackle. First down and 10. Alfred in a scoreless game. Inside 30 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Johnson hands off. Sweep, same play, left side. Diving is Casey Bright. Nice gain on first down.
Yeah, at some point your outside linebackers, if you're the Falcons, will have to step up and own their gaps. They're playing without their gap discipline. That C gap is wide open, so they're cutting back to the outside, and great job by Casey Bright finding the open space, and that's what you're taught as a running back. You want to run to daylight. Started inside, cut back straight to the outside. Outside linebacker lost contain, and he's able to pick up big yards.
6-yard gain, ends the first quarter. We're scoreless here out of Root Field in New Britain, Connecticut, on the campus of Central Connecticut State University, the Robert M. Scotty Whitelaw Bowl. We're back after this. You're watching ECAC football on ECACsports.tv. Start of the second quarter, we're scoreless. The Alfred Saxons, the road team here at Fitchburg State, the home team, even though we are on a neutral site. Dream Seat, the official branded furniture partner, and Seating Solutions, the official stadium seating partner of the ECAC, can help you add new branding and revenue-generating opportunities to your athletic facilities with their patented interchangeable logo furniture and bleach air stadium seats that provide new comfort and professionalism. For more information, please reach out to the national representative for the ECAC, Matt Sobel, at 631-656-1066, extension 27, or by email at msobel@dreamseat.com. Second and 4. Johnson, the quarterback, takes it himself outside the 20, has room to run inside the 10-yard line. And he stopped at the 9. Or will they say the 10? We'll say the 10. Nonetheless, it's a 16-yard gain, first down.
Yeah, great job right there. Double tight end set. I love what they did with that formation. They put those two tight ends on the line of scrimmage, put the running back in the jet sweep motion, faked that, and ran it with Johnson up the middle of that defense. And those guys right now are just firing off the football. They're doing a great job with this offensive line against the Falcons' defensive front.
First and goal from the 10. Alfred looking to strike first. Here's a sweep around the left side of the line. It's Fuentes closing in on the goal line, but he's run out of bounds. At the 5-yard gain makes it a manageable second down.
Yeah, great job once again. If you're able to run east and west, you get these guys to start cheating a little bit. Now you're able to run inside. You saw that on the previous play. And they're just owning the line of scrimmage right now, are the Saxons. I think they're doing a solid job just establishing themselves up front.
Alfred closing in on 90 yards of total offense for the game. Fitchburg at just 43. Second down and goal from the 5. The tailback is Casey Bright, tight left, Fuentes. Alfred looking to score first. Play action. Johnson off his back foot, throws it to the back of the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Brandon Bish, the 6'4" wide receiver. And Alfred takes a 6-0 lead.
And Bish did a great job slow playing that play, almost giving the illusion that he was blocking down on that route. Showed the block, then worked his way back across the field, wide open. That's what happens when you run the football effectively. Teams are so focused on the run fake, the run action. They're following those offensive linemen to wherever they're going. And so Bish was able to work his way back for the touchdown.
It's a fake and a 2-point conversion for Alfred. Well, Trevor Monk was lined up to kick the extra point, but Alfred runs the fake. They get the 2, and they have an 8-0 lead.
And Mike Bryan is a guy that wears a 90 number, so they think he's a defensive lineman, but he's actually the second tight end. So, of course, he's going to be out there catching the football. That's a tight end. That's a guy that you can trust with the football in his hands. So, not knowing the numbers, not knowing the personnel that's out on the field, cost Fitchburg State right there on that play.
Well, that looked way too easy.
I mean, think about it. If you saw someone wearing number 90 standing out wide, there's no way they're going to throw this guy the football. But it's a tight end that's been owning the line of scrimmage in the blocking department. they found a way to get him the football for 2 points.
First, I wouldn't even think he should belong on the offensive side of the field. You'd think he's a defensive end.
Exactly. You think that's a D lineman. He's a big guy. So, even then, they're not going to get him the football. And lo and behold, it burns you.
Bish with his 8th touchdown reception of the year. End-over-end kick. Fielded on a bounce by Malcolm Brown Simpson. Takes it to the middle of the field and a shoestring tackle at the 25-yard line. Nice play by Michael Berardi on special teams.
Now, if you're Fitchburg State, if you're the Falcons, let's look back at the touchdown here. Influence, step forward. Bish just snuck right behind the safety who had his eyes fixated on the line of scrimmage. Didn't see the receiver coming backside and was wide open for the touchdown.
Delkey in the first quarter, just 2 of 6 for 7 yards for Fitchburg State. It's a quarterback who completed 63% of his passes this season, threw for 2,773 yards and 25 touchdowns. He's been minimized thus far. Now the handoff, sweep off to the right side. Almore, not much, as he stopped at the 26. That's the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Yeah, they're doing a great job right now playing the run. And if you're Fitchburg State, just to finish up the point prior, what you should start to do, or what I would do to loosen up this defensive line, you have to get the screen game going. You got to work the outside. Get them guessing early on in the down and distance, and that way when you come back to your inside running game, it'll be there and you'll have some success.
2nd down and 9, Fitchburg State at its own 27-yard line. Here comes the pressure. Delkey fastball over the middle, pass complete. Nice catch, Ty Spencer, first down.
Yeah, Spencer had no choice but to catch that football. That was a dart by Delkey, doing a great job getting the football out of his hands quickly on a quick slant, on a skinny post or a bang eight, whatever you want to call it. But nice chunk play to move the chains.
Ty Spencer, junior from Foxborough, Massachusetts, of course, home to Gillette Stadium. 629 receiving yards, coming to this game's second leading receiver for Fitchburg State. Delkey in the pocket. Pass almost intercepted, deflected by Alfred's Jared Watkins, a defensive back.
And that was a front side read by Delkey, but what you want him to do, sometimes it may not be there. Just scan the field, go to your other options, and try to find a guy that's not double covered to get the football to. Tried to pump fake and go deep down the field again, but he was bracketed. Great job by the secondary of Alfred.
4 receivers for Fitchburg State. Trayvon Neal, Ty Spencer, as well as Samil. 3 out of the 4 with nearly 2 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Here's a quick bullet. Looked like a slant pass, and it was batted at the line.
Yeah, you can see right now Delkey is a spot thrower, and what I mean by that is a guy that's a see-it-throw type of a passer. So when he sees it, he's going to flatline it. There's no arc on his passes, and what happens is defensive linemen, if they're reading your eyes, they're going to bat your passes more often than not, and we saw that on that play by the defensive lineman Toby Hale.
3rd down and 10, Fitchburg State at its own 41. Alfred an 8-0 lead. Delkey out of the shotgun. Play clock down to 10. Takes the snap in the pocket, forced out, being chased. Delkey trying to find something. Boy, he is deep in his own territory now. He's racing towards the sideline. On the run, throws incomplete. Terrific pressure at the line by the Alfred Saxons. The intended receiver was Taylor Ekstrom for Fitchburg State, 4th down.
And a good job by Delkey getting out of trouble there by evading pressure, but also not intentionally grounding the football in the pocket, waiting till he got outside to make the errant throw to force the incomplete pass.
4th down and 10 from the 41-yard line. Fitchburg State to punt. Chris Ludwig. Gavidia back deep for Alfred. Almost blocked. Gavidia will let it bounce. It takes a Fitchburg State roll. And Alfred starts in their own territory, just outside the 20 with an 8-0 lead on the touchdown reception by Bish with the 2-point conversion.
And Alfred's offense is one that can chew up the clock, but what you look at what they've done so far is really keep this defensive line on its heels. So if you're Fitchburg State, your defense has to be able to get off blocks, and your offense needs the defense to get back off the field so they can put together some type of continuity on that side of the ball.
Here's Tyler Johnson, who just threw his 16th touchdown pass of the year. First down and 10. Off tackle, right side. That was Darrell Hunter, the running back at 5'10".
And it's not anything special they're doing in the running game. This is just straight ISO, straight dive. You see some power. You may see some counter. But this is just daring your defenders to beat their guy one-on-one, blocking up front. And right now, the Falcons are not doing so.
It's a 2nd and 8. 2 receivers tight right. 2 back set. 3 minutes gone by, second quarter. Audible at the line. 2 receivers come to the near side, including Brendan Bish, as well as Fuentes. Play clock was running down at a timeout called by Alfred University. Max Pizza is simply the best. It has been catering to the Bristol area since 1976. They're located at 79 Shuttle Meadow Avenue in New Britain, 225 Stafford Road in Burlington, and 108 Stafford Road in Bristol. The New Britain location is in a great area, and good news, Central Connecticut students, they accept the Blue Chip card. Please visit any of their locations throughout the weekend and mention you are in attendance at the ECAC Football Championships for a special offer. 8-0 Alfred. The Bish touchdown reception from Tyler Johnson. 2-point conversion on a fake. And Alfred on top here to the Robert M. Scotty Whitelaw Bowl Championship here on Championship Weekend. First ever time where all the ECAC Division III Bowls have been held in one site. Dr. Kevin McGinnis, the president and CEO of the ECAC, and his crew, including Lori Mazza, Megan O'Brien, they deserve a great deal of credit for setting up what's been a terrific weekend. So we'd like to thank them, especially from a media standpoint. It's been so easy for us. Johnson on the run pass, incomplete. I guess you could say the intended receiver was Brandon Bish, but there was really nobody else in the vicinity, so it's a 3rd down.
And you don't mind that play, just throwing the football away, living to play another down, and not losing yards, so you find yourself in a 3rd and long situation right now.
11:46 remaining here in the second quarter. Alfred 8, Fitchburg State nothing. Seth Cantor, Emory Hudd, our entire PAC Network crew here with you. As Tyler Johnson out of the shotgun with Casey Bright, the tailback. Johnson, short drop over the middle, incomplete, out of the reach of the intended wide receiver. Emil Friggin, a wide receiver at 175 pounds. It's a 4th down.
Credit the Falcons defense for getting this stop right here. They've done their part. Alfred only has 8 points. Yes, they've had some success moving the football in the previous drive, but the defense has come to play and has done a great job getting these guys off the field. Their offense has to get into gear on this upcoming series.
Joe McMahon to punt. Taylor Ekstrom set to return. 4th down at 8. Play clock down to 10. Alfred kicking it away with an 8-0 lead. Low end over end kick. Ekstrom gets it. Stutter step at the 44.5-yard line. They'll say he's down at the 45. And Fitchburg State now starts with good field position. They trail 8-0.
I like to see them start to take shots downfield in the passing game. I think the way they can set that up, I know I've said this point maybe 2 or 3 times so far in the broadcast, but the short passing game, get those athletes in space. They're running backs, they're slot receivers. Get them the football on the perimeter and force the Saxons to make plays in space consistently. Then take your shots deep down the field. You're seeing the cover 2 shell, so anything over the middle of the field or underneath is where they can go with the football.
Neal and Spencer lined up left. Sterling Garvin in as the tailback. Delkei, play action. Dealing with pressure now. Gets past the original line of scrimmage and up to the 50-yard line, 5-yard gain.
Yeah, Delkei right there showing the athleticism, making it 2nd and 5, 2nd and manageable. That's a positive play on this series. You want to string a bunch of these together, and then you find your way in the end zone at the end.
Anthony Fascichesia with the tackle for Alfred. 2nd down and 5, nearly 4 minutes deep here in the second quarter. Fitchburg State trailing 8-0 with the ball. Man in motion to the near side. Delkei. Plenty of time on the play clock. Play action again. Delkei slithers his way out of the pocket across the 45 to the 43-yard line. That's enough for a Fitchburg State first down.
And these are good. Yes, he's creating opportunities with his legs, but you don't want to pull the football down too quickly. You see right here, there's an open receiver right there in the flat. Allow him to make a play. Get him in the ball game as well. You don't want to take too many of these shots if you're a quarterback.
Corey Wallace, the third leading tackler in the Empire 8, making the play. First down and 10 for Fitchburg State. 3 receivers loaded to the left, a receiver on the right. Garvin, the tailback. We haven't seen Allmore on this drive. Plenty of time on the play clock. Men creeping at the line for Alfred. Here's a quick screen pass, dropped. And the reason why Ty Spencer ran after that ball, if that's a lateral pass and Spencer drops it, it's a live ball, but it looked like it was ahead of a line of scrimmage. It's incomplete, second down.
And Spencer was the guy that was asking for the football on the previous play. But if you're going to ask for the football, with how the saying goes, get what you asked for, get it because you asked for it. He dropped this one. This was well blocked. He had a chance to go far, but you got to catch the football first.
Trayvon Neal, wide receiver, lined up to the left. 3 receivers to the right for Fitchburg State. Samil Spencer and Ekstrom. Second down and 10. Falcons at the Alfred 43. They trail 8-0 with Garvin the tailback. Delkey hands off to Garvin, trying to find his way. Gang tackle. Absolutely nothing for him.
Yeah, it's going to be tough right now to run inside against this Saxons defensive front. I like what I'm seeing so far. These guys are energetic. They're getting off the ball with the same level of intensity that they did in the first quarter. So, again, you want to test the outside of this run defense. Maybe run on the edge. Get those 2 guys to combo block that defensive end and create a lane in the alley on the outside in that C and D gap. But right now, running inside won't happen for you if you haven't established a run or the short passing game elsewhere.
Michael Stefan the tackle, 2-yard loss. 3rd and 12. Delkey with pressure coming in the pocket. Fires it over the middle. Intercepted by the Saxons. Picked off by Corey Wallace, the linebacker. Wallace taking it into positive territory, and he's run out of bounds. A costly turnover for Garrett Delkey. Alfred gets the ball back with fantastic field position.
Boy, Corey Wallace is one heck of a player. 5'10", 240. Using all of his 5'10" frame to get up there and snag that interception. And I'm pretty sure he has some running back in his background. You see him making guys miss, breaking tackles. He wanted to score on that play.
Senior from Mastic Beach, New York on Long Island, his 3rd interception of the year.
It's a heck of a play. And again, we've seen 2 plays in pass defense where he has read the eyes of the quarterback and got in between the receiver and the QB and made the play. This time he finally picked off the ball. Great change of pace. Field position, for Alfred.
8-0 Saxons, first down and 10 at the Fitchburg State 35. Option for the quarterback. Johnson has a lane and gets a terrific gain. Odd first down. He's tackled at the 27-yard line. And just about 8.5. Second down and short.
And going back to the replay, you just saw right there just a great job in recognizing the route concept, dropping in your zone, and just making a play on the football. Great job by Wallace, man. That was impressive.
Errol Bennett made the last tackle for Fitchburg State. Second down and 2, Alfred at the Fitchburg State 27-yard line. Saxons lead at 8-0 inside the 9-minute mark in the opening half. The versatile Tyler Johnson takes the snap, takes it himself, and he's met at the 27-yard line. No gain, so Fitchburg State's defense saying, not this time.
And that was our linebacker, Luis Feliz, the senior 6 feet 210, stuffing that right at the line of scrimmage and driving him back into the ground.
Feliz with 74 tackles and 5 sacks, 12.5 tackles for loss this season. 3rd down and 2 for the Alfred Saxons. Outside of Trevor Monk's field goal range by a few yards for them to be comfortable with Monk. They'd need to get to the 20, and that would be a first down anyway. 3rd down and 2 from the 27. Backs to both sides of Tyler Johnson. Back 3-back set. Play clock down to 5. Johnson hands it off. No gain. In fact, a loss. Casey Bright taken down in the backfield, 4th down.
Yeah, Feliz once again on that play, shot the gap pretty quickly, and he's a guy that has tremendous speed and athleticism. It's 3-on-3 crime right there as he took down the running back Casey Bright, who had no choice but to ball up and let himself get tackled for a loss. But great job by Feliz shooting the gap, beating the block of the tight end, and making a tackle in the backfield.
4th down and 8.
You might see a pooch punt here too. You might not see them full-fledged go for it. I would be surprised if they go for it here. I think you may see a quick punt by the QB.
Johnson, the quarterback, he's throwing on 4th down. On the run, incomplete. Intended for Fuentes. And Fitchburg State takes over.
Very surprising they threw the football in that situation. Again, and the play looked rushed. It looked as if they didn't know what they were doing. Guys were getting lined up late, and that's the end result. You don't have a clean play call. You don't have clean execution, and it doesn't work out how you planned it to. But great job by Fitchburg State getting off the field. Now your offense has to capitalize. And, again, what you've seen so far has only been a 2-deep shell by Alfred. So I would say maybe you have to go to the flat. You can run outside, but anything you want in the passing game will have to come short or just outside that linebacker over the middle of the field.
Delkey out of the shotgun. Fitchburg State trailing 8-0. On the run, the quarterback throws. Pass complete. Out to Samil, the junior tight end, 1st down.
And Delkey has a funky delivery. Almost looks as if he's throwing a baseball. So that arm is not coming over, so he's not getting that arc. So everything he's throwing is coming out with a lot of velocity, and it's a spot throw. So he definitely has to make sure he's seeing the coverage around where he's throwing the football.
1st down and 10. Fitchburg State trailing 8-0 with the ball. Plenty of time on the play clock. Delkey over the middle. Pass complete. No, dropped. Intended for Ty Spencer, the wide receiver.
The second drop right there by Spencer. He called for the football, a couple of plays ago when he had the football in the last series, but 2 drops, consecutive drops by Spencer. That was a big play by the offense. Good throw, good read, just over the head of the linebacker. You got to make that catch.
2nd and 10 from the 46 for Fitchburg State. Team that averaged 142 yards per game on the ground, 6th in the MASCAC, and 278 through the air. That's 4th in their league. 4 receivers, 2 to each side. The tailback is Almore. Tries to sneak around the line and doesn't get much. Pyle pushed him forward a bit, but he stopped at the 48-yard line, just a gain of 2. Flag came in. See what Mark Mesnick, today's referee, has to say. See initial signal, member of the crew, that it's against Fitchburg State. Holding on Fitchburg State. 10-yard penalty. We'll redo 2nd down.
And this is why that drop on 1st down was so critical, because now you find yourself in 2nd and 20 instead of 1st and 10 going that way. It's a tough hole to get out of when you're facing a very tough defense in Alfred, who just picked off a pass on the last series. So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot with these penalties and drop passes.
2nd and 20 now from the 36. Fitchburg State needs to reach the Alfred 44 for a 1st down. Delkey scrambling, trying to lead his receivers downfield. Throws on the run. Ball deflected in the air, and another interception. Once again, Corey Wallace, the linebacker, tipping the ball to himself, his 2nd pick of the game.
Listen, if I was an NFL scout watching this game, you would be really impressed with what he's done so far from a pass defense department. 9 times out of 10, you don't see linebackers being able to cover effectively in the passing game, and he has made 2 outstanding plays on the football, 2 interceptions. He almost had a 3rd one on the first series by doing the same acrobatic thing. I love what I'm seeing right now from Corey Wallace. I think he's a phenomenal linebacker.
Corey Wallace matching his season total. 2 interceptions in this game. He has 2, now 4 picks on the season. 8-0 Alfred, 6:01 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Fuentes in motion. Johnson keeps it. They run that option where Johnson keeps it, and it's outside the 45. Let's call it the 47-yard line. 3 yards on 1st down. Inside the 6-minute mark, Alfred 8, Fitchburg State nothing. 2 picks by the Saxons, both by Corey Wallace, the 5'10" linebacker.
Well, just like the replay just showed, is again a situation where Delkey had an opportunity to dump the football off short to the running back that was standing right in front of him, but he wanted to make a hero play and go back across the middle of the field, and it was an interception. You can't do those things. Take what the defense gives you.
Johnson was given a generous spot, 4 yards. Takes it himself after the drop back. And he's tackled just shy of the 41-yard line. Gain of 5. He's shy of the first down.
And we've seen this before where defense is helping out their offense. That sputtering, we saw it last night in the Buffalo State game. And it just took a while for the offensive RPI to get into gear and come away victorious. But when you look at what's going on with the Falcons, their defense is definitely bailing out their offense, but they need their offense to stop making mistakes with penalties and also turnovers. It's killing this football team. Otherwise, at some point, this defense will give up the big play, and they'll be down more than 8.
Gavidia comes in as a wide receiver. 3rd down and 2 after the tackle from Watford. 4:31 remaining in the opening half. There's a fade, batted away. Nice defensive play in the secondary. Asante Easter slapping the ball away. That ball was intended for Fuentes.
Yeah, Easter with great size, 6 feet, 200 pounds. Keeping a nice little hand on the back of the receiver. Not enough to where it affected the route or disrupted, caused a penalty, but great job overall playing that corner route, which was a tough play to play, and coming away with the pass breakup.
We get a second look.
Keeping that outside arm free to swat the ball away.
Ekstrom back to return for Fitchburg State. Joe McMahon to punt. Has trouble with the snap. Very short kick. It's a wounded duck, and it's going to land in the neighborhood of the 30-yard line. At Papa John's, we know it's the epic moments that make football so great. Well, now, here's something epic you can eat. Up your game with our new Epic Meats Pizza stacked with pepperoni, Italian sausage meatballs, hickory smoked bacon, and Canadian bacon. Just $12 for a large. Better ingredients, better pizza. PapaJohns.com. Limited time offer. Not valid with any coupons or discounts. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. 1st down and 10 for Fitchburg State. Delkey hands it off ahead of steam for Garvin out to the 32, just 2 yards.
Hey, Garvin ran right into the teeth of that Saxons defense. And I think right now if you're Pittsburgh State, you have to find ways to get Delkey into a groove. So Devin Gates, the offensive coordinator, has to find those little short passes, give him design throws where, okay, I want you to throw the hitch, I want you to throw the swing. Get him into a groove right now so that way you then can take your shots deeper down the field.
Holden Whitehead with that last tackle. 3:45 remaining in the first half. Fitchburg State with the ball. They trail 8-0. Delkey rolls along the near side, trying to lead his receivers. He tucks, takes it himself across the 35 out to the 40-yard line, and he's wrapped up at the 41. It's a 9-yard gain on the play, and it looks good for a first down.
That's good, smart play right there by Delkey, just taking the football and running. But we're seeing too much of him running the football. He's taking a lot of shots so far. At some point, those shots will add up. He has to get rid of the football. You want to get him going passing so that way later on he can then pop one of these long runs.
The receivers are Neal, Samil, Spencer, and Ekstrom. 1st down and 10. Delkey gives to Almore. Almore doesn't have much. He's wrapped up at the 42. Gain of a yard. You look at the timeouts, both teams with 2. Players get out of the pile. The last one up. Corey Wallace, the man of the hour with 2 interceptions in the game.
He's right now the player of the game. He's doing a great job on both ends of defense, getting in the mix right there versus the run, and we've seen his pass defense exploits so far throughout the course of this first half.
2nd down and 9, Fitchburg State at its own 42, trailing 8-0. Delkey, quick drop, catch made. Spencer, room to run, across the 35. Spencer taken down at the 30-yard line.
Well, now we see what he can do with the football in his hands when he catches it. So great job weaving in and out of traffic, and an excellent job by Delkey beating the blitz. He saw Corey Wallace bearing down on him, coming right down at A gap. He stood tall in the pocket, delivered the strike. Spencer caught the football and was able to get a big play for this offense.
28-yard reception, 1st down and 10. Delkey from the gun. Man in motion to the near side. Garvin back in at tailback. Delkey racing out of the pocket, tucks it, keeps it inside the 30.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Brent Barnes is doing a great job with what he's asking Corey Wallace, the middle linebacker, to do. He's essentially spying the quarterback Delkei. So if Delkei runs left or right, that's the responsibility of Wallace, which is why you see Wallace making a lot more plays in the passing game. He's just reading the eyes of Delkei, and he did so on that run play as well.
Toby Hale, the tackle. Inside 2 minutes remaining opening half. Fitchburg State driving. Delkei takes, being pressured. Dumps it off, near side. Spencer with the reception. Shoestring tackle just outside the 20-yard line.
Good job working the sideline, getting the short passing game going, getting some called pass plays going either east or west, giving him options in the passing game is helping him out on this drive.
It's actually Samil with the reception. Third down and short at the 21. Play action. They'll throw on third down, and the catch is made inside the 15-yard line. First down for Fitchburg State. It's Samil.
A nice drive being put together right here by Delkei and his Falcon offense. They're finally starting to hit their stride in the passing game, keeping it simple, keeping it efficient, and they're moving the football as a result.
First down at 10. Fitchburg State. Delkei throws, catch made in the neighborhood of the 10-yard line. Now the reception by Taylor Ekstrom. Keep in mind, Alfred gets the ball to start the second half. They won the toss and deferred, so this is an important drive for Fitchburg State. We close in at the end of the first half. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. 45 seconds left to go in the first half. Delkei out of the shotgun. He's throwing. It's deflected up in the air and bounces incomplete. Boy, another close play as that one was batted at the line.
And he had the open receiver. I saw what he was looking at. That skinny post was wide open over the middle of the field. But again, when you're looking at the same thing and the defender is watching your eyes, you're going to get a lot of tip passes. I talked about it earlier. He doesn't have that natural arc where he can throw over the line. He's throwing fastballs, straight line. It's going to get tipped at the line of scrimmage, and that's what happened on that play.
Samil, Spencer, and Jesse Lastrup, a wide receiver. The game, actually, no, it's Ekstrom, excuse me, on a third down and 6 from the 10. Fitchburg State trailing 8-0. Samil, the pump fake, forced out of the pocket, on the run, throws to the front right corner of the end zone, caught, touchdown. Samil with the touchdown reception along the sideline. And Fitchburg State trails 8-6.
Yeah, good job by Samil keeping the play alive by staying in bounds. That's tough for a receiver to do. He knew where he was on the football field. Great job extending the play by Delkei, finding the guy in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown. Great drive by the Falcons.
Delkei was dangerously close to crossing the line of scrimmage. Ludwig on to attempt the extra point. The snap is clean. Kick is good. And Fitchburg State trails 8-7.
That's the type of drive you want to see for the Falcons heading into halftime, because now you have the momentum to build on coming out in the second half.
Samil with his 12th touchdown reception of the season. That's a feel-good drive there.
And he got the quarterback Delkei more involved in the short passing game, gave him simple reads to make, simple throws to make, which got him into a groove. They avoided the linebacker, Corey Wallace. They avoided throwing over the middle of the field, and that helped him out a lot. Plus, his mobility helped extend that play for the touchdown and find a receiver standing in the corner in the end zone.
Fuentes and Gavidia back to return for Alfred. Saxons have 2 timeouts with 31 seconds left. Important for Fitchburg State to prevent a big return because, again, Alfred gets the ball to start the second half.
And Alfred doesn't have that 2-minute offense to where they can air it out. You're probably going to see a lot of run coming from the Saxons on this drive.
Deep end over and kick. Fuentes had trouble with it. He's going to run it out of the end zone, no. And he's tackled. That was a bad decision. Fuentes tackled shy of the 5-yard line. And I know there's not a lot of time left in the first half, but at the same time, that's a very dangerous play You play the ball on several bounces. You have Fitchburg State closing in on you. You're risking a fumble in that situation.
Yeah, and the ball came into the end zone, didn't come into the field to play, so you could have taken a knee and been fine getting the football at the 20. So there was no reason to take the ball out of the end zone in that situation. It's a bonehead play. It's a mental error that happened. Now you put yourself in a situation where a great defensive play by Fitchburg State could end up in points.
You put a lot of pressure on the offense here. And keep in mind, Fitchburg State, they have a couple of timeouts, but it's not going to be enough to extend this half. As the Saxons run it into the line.
Fitchburg State took a timeout here.
Well, they'll have one timeout left, but even with that one timeout, on the third down, Fitchburg State can just run it into the line and end the half. Actually, Alfred can just run it into the line and end the half, excuse me.
Exactly. You want to take this time if you're the coach to tell your team, don't jump offside, don't create a penalty, don't create a personal foul, calm down, no extracurricular activities going on. Once the whistle blows, you don't want to give them a cheap 15-yard penalty to extend this half.
I wouldn't even expect them on that third down to run it into the line, just take it in. Go to the locker room. Corvia's Campus Living is proud to be a premier partner of the ECAC. Corvia's Campus Living strives to provide universities across the country with superior campus solutions and providing ECAC member schools with the opportunity to build a dynamic campus environment that all students, fans, and alumni can be proud of. 2nd and 2 for Alfred. They're at their own 2-yard line. 20 seconds remaining in the opening half. Fitchburg State does have one timeout left. Johnson under center. They run it right into the line with 16 seconds left. Officials come in. Fitchburg State takes the timeout. That's their last timeout, but once again, after this timeout, Alfred is taking in and end the first half.
Yeah, they're trying to send a message to Alfred that you're going to work for this halftime break because we're fired up right now. Doing a great job just coaching these guys up in between. So you have to like how this first half ended for Fitchburg State. But if you're Alfred, you have to start looking at your offense like, hey, we can move the football with the running game. What can we do throwing the football to help balance out our offense and get things going in the second half?
Well, the scoring for Alfred early in the second quarter. Bish, the 15-yard touchdown reception from Tyler Johnson. Johnson's 11th touchdown, actually 16th touchdown of the year. And Bish, his 8th touchdown reception. Now, fake on the extra point attempt, and 2-point conversion was good as Mike Bryant caught it on the right side of the end zone. And after that, later on in the quarter, Samil with the touchdown reception along the right sideline. Off to our right, and Fitchburg State with the extra point. They trail 8-7 with 15 seconds left. And Johnson now can just take a knee at end of the half, and that's what happens as the first half comes to an end. So, Emory, what do you make of this first half of a close game?
Well, I just love the fact that both defenses have come to play. Offensively, you like Alfred's ability to run the football, but you want to see what can he do to build on that success. And if you're Fitchburg State, what can you do to build on the offensive success you had to end the half?
How about Corey Wallace, the linebacker, with 2 picks?
And nearly a third. I thought he played probably the best game of any defensive player we've seen throughout the entire weekend. Those 2 interceptions, nearly a third one, was just impressive display of athleticism. He's a tremendous player, and I'm excited to see what he has in store for the second half.
Corey Wallace of Alfred with 4 interceptions on the season, matching his season total, has 2 tonight. We'll step aside. We'll come back in a little bit with first half highlights and statistics for you as well. Right here on the campus of Central Connecticut State University. A Root Field, the final bowl game of the weekend, the Robert M. Scotty Whitelaw Bowl Championship. Low-scoring affair. Alfred 8, Fitchburg State 7. We're back after this on ECACsports.tv. Tight ball game here at a Root Field. The final bowl game of the weekend. Seth Cantor, Emory Hunt with you on ECACsports.tv. Alfred 8 and Fitchburg State 7. Emory, as we recap the first half here, and we'll take a look at the highlights. And we'll start off with the Bish touchdown reception, the 5-yard pass from Tyler Johnson.
Great job. Again, great setup. They set this play up the entire first series by running the football off tackle. You see Bish work his way back across the defense. The free safety found himself looking in the backfield and left the guy wide open.
And Monk lines up for the extra point, but it's a fake, and Bryan in the end zone makes the reception for 2 points. However, Fitchburg, they would score a touchdown as Samil along the right sideline takes the pass, and that gets the Falcons on the board as we take a second look right here, led by the quarterback, Delikiai.
And Delikiai working back over the middle of the field right there. That's the interception by Wallace. Corey Wallace did a great job in the first half playing the ball and doing a solid job on both ends of defense, stopping and run 10 tackles, a half a TFL right there is also, but going back across the field, another interception, acrobatic play by the 5'10", 240-pound linebacker.
Yeah, athletic play by the linebacker. 2 picks in the first half, now has 4 on the season. Oh, a tight, grinded-out ball game, perfect for this type of cool fall weather here in New England. Final half of football for the weekend on a root field. Now Ludwig gets a leg into it, a low end-over-end kick. Gavidia fields it, and he's out near the 10-yard line. Gavidia slithers through a hole, and he's tackled at the 25, and that's where Alfred starts. Now the first half statistics, Alfred 109 yards of total offense in the first half. Fitchburg State with 151 in that first half. Rushing yards, Alfred 96, Fitchburg State with 62. Delikiai, 9 of 21, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. And Tyler Johnson just 2 of 9 for 13 yards and a touchdown. Johnson, the leading rusher for Alfred, 11 rushes for 47 yards. And Delikiai, the leading rusher for Fitchburg State, 6 for 39 yards. As we open up the second half, a terrific run out to the near side by Casey Bright, a running back, and that's a nice gain on first down.
Nice, healthy play to open up the drive here. You know they can run the football, but we're going to try to see if they can improve on that 13 yards passing that they had in the first half.
Errol Bennett, the tackle for Fitchburg State.
You have to find more ways to get Bish involved in the offense.
Johnson. Plenty of time on the play clock. Leads Bright, but takes it himself. Johnson, nice run out near the 40-yard line. He stopped at the 39. 9-yard gain, first down for the Saxons.
And that's a great read right there by Tyler Johnson. A lot of times when people see zone read or read option or triple option football, they think the quarterback is not reading the defense, but he has to read not only what he sees from the defensive end, but he also has to read the flow from the second level. Great decision right there to pull the football, getting him the first down.
Lined up slot right is Bish. Near side left is Fuentes. Opening minutes, second half, Alfred 8, Fitchburg State 7. Tightly played ball game. Johnson under pressure. Tries to slither out of the sack, but goes down.
And great job right there by the defensive line, getting off blocks and closing the back door because Johnson was about to slip out and pick up yards with his legs. But great job overall getting him on the ground, which is very tough to do, what we've seen so far in this ball game.
Watford, the defensive lineman, with the takedown.
Don't know why he didn't throw the screen there. They set up the screen, but he just abandoned ship and didn't tell anybody else and was brought down.
Fuentes and Bish lined up on the right side. No receivers on the left. Play clock approaching 10. Alfred looking to extend its lead. They're on top 8-7. The handoff goes to Casey Bright. Stumbles through a tackle but doesn't get much. He gets up to the 39-yard line. That's a 2-yard gain.
And that was your old classic sprint draw right there. Try to influence the defense, getting them upfield. But they did a great job in recognizing the draw play and recovering and making a stop.
Alfred just 1 of 7 on third downs in the first half. Just over 2 minutes gone by in the third quarter. As we wrap up bowl weekend. The Robert M. Scotty Whitelaw Bowl Championship. Play clock down to 10. Johnson calls for the ball. Will try to throw on third down. Off the back foot, incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Bryant. Overthrew him just a bit. See this Fitchburg State bench below is fired up, and that's a 4th down at 11.
Yeah, they tried to use crossers to take advantage of the man coverage they had underneath, But just a great job by Fitchburg State's defense doing a solid job in recognizing those crosses and staying with their guy and making that throw tougher than what it had to be, forcing an incomplete pass and a punt.
Ekstrom and Vasquez back for Alfred. Joe McMahon set to punt. Low kick. It takes an Alfred bounce. However, it's returned to the 29-yard line as Ekstrom did what he could with it, and Fitchburg State gets the ball back, a chance to take the lead on this drive.
Yeah, you want to see what they were able to build on going into halftime. We saw their offense start to catch fire, put together a couple of great plays, got it into the end zone, but you want to see if they can carry that over to the second half.
Time of possession in the first half was relatively even. Fitchburg State 15 minutes 50 seconds. Alfred 14 minutes and 10 seconds. Handoff on first down. Garvin out past the 35 to the 36.
And that's the best run of the day we've seen right now by Fitchburg State, running right down the middle of the field. Garvin did a great job just accelerating and lowering his shoulder.
A.J. Licata, the tackle. Garvin thought about going up the middle. Now tries to get outside the pressure and doesn't get much. He stopped at the 39-yard line.
Looks to be just a hair short of the first down. But you like the mentality coming out in the second half. Just we're going to line up, play hard-nosed football, and just try to beat you off the ball and get in their ground game going in the process.
Licata to tackle again. Fitchburg State. I think they're going to call for a measurement here. It looks short just by where they're positioning the ball. Needed to get to the 39. Ball's on the south side of the 39. It's maybe close. Here comes the measurement. Chain comes down, and it looks to be just a bit short. Not even a half yard.
Right, and I think when you look at what they've done on the first two plays, wouldn't be surprised to see more of a downhill run right here and just try to challenge that defensive front, challenge your own offensive linemen to move these guys off the spot.
Well, third and short. Fitchburg State 3 of 9 on third downs in the first half. As Mark Mesnick, the referee, as let's play ball. 11:27 remaining third quarter. Fitchburg State, they score on this drive, they'll take the lead. Delkey with two receivers, near side right, one left. Plenty of time on the play clock. Pressure at the line, a sneak right up the middle. This is going to be close. Fitchburg State says they have the first down. Linesman comes in north of the 39-yard line. That's where Fitchburg State needed to get to. And it is a Falcons first down.
Nice smart play right there by Delkey on the quarterback sneak. Don't try to just barrel behind your center. Take a step back, find a little crease, and slip right through.
First down and 10 for the Falcons on the left hash. Delkey rolls. Almost intercepted once again. Threw that one into coverage. A.J. Licata, the linebacker, with the pressure on the receiver. Second down and 10.
Boy, the athleticism of their linebacking core is impressive. A.J. Licata nearly picking that football off. We already seen Corey Wallace pick off 2, nearly 3. He might want to test these cornerbacks more so than these linebackers in the passing game.
Wind at the back of the Falcons right now. Gusty wind. Garrett Delkey with 7 on the play clock. Garvin takes the handoff between the 42 and the 43-yard line. 2.5-yard gain. Alfred tackle came from Charles Brandwell, 5'11" defensive lineman.
This is only a good thing for Fitchburg State as they've come out in the second half and got the ground game going. I like what I'm seeing so far from the running back and the running game and that interior offensive line because this is going right downhill. This is something they couldn't do in the first half. They had problems moving those guys off the spot. Now they're getting a little bit of movement up front.
4 receivers, 2 to each side, third and 7. Man in motion to the near side, play clock at 10. Delkey facing pressure, Throws it into the flat. The catch made by Ty Spencer. Gets past his man, has a first down. Into positive territory. Terrific reception by Ty Spencer. Nifty footwork as well. First down, Fitchburg.
And this is exactly what you wanted Del Chiari to do in the first half. He saw what the defense gave him and took it. Again, short route. Blitz was coming. Got rid of the football quickly. 9 times out of 10 in the first half, he would have just taken that football and tried to run it himself. Got the football to his playmaker, and he made the play.
He was run out by Brandwell. Here's a quick dump off over the middle. Nice game. The first down for Fitchburg State as the receiver, Samil, the junior tight end.
And that's what you want to do. If you want to throw over the middle of the field right now, knowing you've already thrown 2 interceptions to the middle linebacker, try to use a run game coming off play action. That's what he did exactly on that play. Nice little pop pass to Samil.
Gain of 7, second down and 3. Fitchburg State driving. If they score on this drive, they'll take the lead. 9:19 remaining in the third quarter. Del Chiari. Time on the play clock. Drops back in the pocket. Fires over the middle. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Ty Spencer. He was in stride, but there was good coverage there. Spencer couldn't hang on. Third down.
Yeah, free safety Mike Barati got there in time to break up the pass, separated the ball from the receiver with a nice hit. That's exactly what you draw up in practice. You want your safety to close in, squeeze down on that route, and knock the ball away. Perfect job right there. Great play by Alfred.
Physical play. Clean though. Third down and 3. Fitchburg State on the 38 of Alfred. Falcons trail the Saxons 8-7. Low-scoring affair. Del Chiari takes a snap, throws, and dropped. Incomplete. Again, throwing it into coverage. Boy, Alfred has 2 interceptions in this game. Emory, you can make the case that they could have at least 3 or potentially 4.
Exactly. You want to take the path of least resistance, and on that particular play, it was a guy going in the flat. Number 23, the running back. Throw it to him, allow him to make one miss. He took the path of the most resistance, and just a great play. Another athletic play by A.J. Licata, the linebacker, making a play, breaking it up.
Trayvon Neal, the intended receiver. Gavidia on to return the punt, coming from Chris Ludwig. Ludwig has placed 18 inside the 20 this year. That's a terrific number. Fourth down and 3. Directional kick down the right sideline. It bounces out of bounds. Alfred will start deep in their own territory, so a nice punt.
19 inside the 20 after that one, inside the 20, I'm sorry. But you look at what they have to do now coming out, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but we know Alfred can run the football. Can they throw in this situation? They have to get they have to at least flip field position on this drive. If they can't get a first down or can't get a touchdown, you want to get at least 2 to 3 first downs to where you can then flip field position for your punt team.
Casey Bright, the tailback. Tyler Johnson calling the plays. Chance of defense from the Fitchburg State fans. Nice contingent on hand. Johnson, the quarterback, takes it himself. Has daylight out near the right sideline. Johnson run out of bounds. Nice play. First down.
Great play set up by the seal on the edge by the wide receiver, doing a great job sealing that edge and allowing him the opportunity to get to the outside. That was Malike Fuentes doing a great job after the fake, getting the block right there on the corner, just enough to where Tyler Johnson can turn the corner and pick up a huge gain.
Asante Easter, the tackle. First down and 10. Saxons with the ball looking to extend their lead. Plenty of time on the play clock. 2 receivers right. Have a slot back as well. Here's the handoff. It goes to Bright. Bright doesn't get much, although he muscles his way to the 29-yard line, gain of 3.
And their offense is built to run the football, but in order to loosen up this box a little bit, they have to start working the outside, getting the tight end involved, getting those 2 receivers involved, and even getting your backs involved in the passing game. You don't have to do much. Maybe it's a swing route, maybe it's a short flare, or even a screen, but you have to find ways to loosen up that box of the Falcons.
Second and 7 Saxons at their 29-yard line. Johnson with backs to either side and 1 behind him. Play clock at 7. High snap. Here's the handoff. Leads Casey Bright. Bright into the secondary across midfield. It's a foot race. Bright at the 40 to the 35. Tackle from behind at the Fitchburg State 30. Big gain, first down.
Yeah, great run right there by Bright, showing the Jets getting a big chunk play. But you look at number 11 for Fitchburg State, running that play down and saving the touchdown. But what you see right here, great inside run, zone read, breaking a couple tackles. The little things matter, man. You have to wrap up once you have a back dead to rights. Otherwise, this is the result that can happen.
Usmain Sam after a 41-yard run by Casey Bright. First down and 10, Saxons driving. Just outside of field goal range, but they're at the Fitchburg State 30-yard line. 3 backs, 2 receivers. Plenty of time on the play clock. Tyler Johnson calling for the ball from Sean Murphy, the center. Takes the high snap. Here's the handoff. Casey Bright running left this time. 3, 4 Fitchburg State tacklers after him, and he's dropped at the 30, no gain.
Yeah, Malcolm Brown Simpson, the linebacker, 5'11", 205 pounds, did a great job grabbing him with one hand and try to swing him around. And you saw his teammates rally up and try to help him, but a good job taking on the block and then making the play. They try to strip the ball out of his hands, but good team defense right there by the Falcons.
Second down and 10 for the Saxons on the Fitchburg State 30. Alfred 8, Fitchburg State 7. More than halfway through the third quarter, the final game of the weekend. It's been a good one. Johnson, play action. Rolling out, off the back foot, fade down the left sideline. Casey Bright, the running back, reels it in. Let's see, was he in bounds? Yes, he was. A beautiful reception by the running back who came out as a wide receiver and made a terrific play down at the 7-yard line.
And he bailed out Tyler Johnson on that play, who threw that ball blindly because the linebacker, Malcolm Brown Simpson, was in perfect position to make a play. He didn't locate the football, but good thing Bright saw it and was able to pull it in for a big gain. Got them inside the 10-yard line right now.
First and goal from the 7. Alfred looking to make this a 2-score, actually take the lead, extend their lead with a touchdown. Tyler Johnson out of the shotgun. Play clock approaching 10. Johnson fakes the run, rolling out. Gives the stiff arm, and he stopped inside the 10-yard line. Not much of a gain. In fact, he might have lost a yard. Let's see where they mark him. They'll say he's out of bounds at the 7, no gain, second and goal.
Luis Feliz is showing you why he was our player to watch defensively. Watch the speed, sideline to sideline. He got sucked inside, but had enough athleticism to recover and make the play on Johnson.
Second down and goal from the 7. Casey Bright, the tailback. Brendan Bish with the touchdown reception. He's the near side receiver. On the far side, Fuentes.
Bish has one-on-one opportunity right here if they want to give him a shot.
It's an offset eye. Play clock inside 10. Man in motion. The ball gets away from Tyler Johnson. Races after it. Throws it off his back foot. Almost intercepted. That's a dangerous throw. That is tough. You're throwing it into the secondary. There is a defensive back right there. And there's a flag that comes in at the 28-yard line. Talk about a chaotic play.
Yeah, you tried to save himself by throwing it away, but you have to remember you're inside the tackle box, and that's intentional grounding each and every time. You can't do that. But, again, you just have to make sure you understand where you are on the football field. I get you trying to make a play and help your offense out, but you're inside the tackle box.
Yeah, you have to be aware of there. I know it's tough to take a sack in that situation.
But now you just, it's almost like you took the sack because you're going to get the ball is going to be placed right where you threw it, and you have a loss of down.
Move the ball back to the 29-yard line. That makes it a third down.
See all the offensive linemen checking their wrists for the play. Smart offense, and I like the fact that they've simplified the offense, which allows these guys to play faster, and much more aggressive.
Third and 29. Deep over the middle, incomplete. Fuentes, the intended receiver. Now it's fourth down and 29.
You had two guys in the same area. You had number 36 running down the seam as well as Fuentes. Both looked at each other once again like, hey, is it my ball? Is it your ball? And no one went for it. So incomplete pass. You got fourth down and 30 now. Do you go for it? Do you kick the field goal? Do you punt? Decision time, here for the coach.
This is out of Trevor Monk's range. For Monk to be comfortable, Alfred ideally would like to be at the 20-yard line. His longest kick this year is 37. View Sport is an innovative fitness apparel line focused on the motivated athletes, sports teams, and others looking to get the most from their fitness and training efforts. When an athlete exercises, the patent-pending ViewSport sweat-activated technology reveals the design that is apparent only once sweat comes in contact with the fabric. The harder the wearer works, the more visible the image. This shirt works if you do.
This is a tough break because you had the football inside the 10-yard line, and now you find yourself 40 yards away from the end zone or 30 yards away from the end zone with the fourth down and deciding whether or not you're going to kick the field goal or go for it. And it looks like they're going to go for it here. Unfortunate part is they can't get a first down, so they have to go touchdown or not. It's touchdown or broke right here for the Saxons.
It's goal to go in this situation, but that's 29 yards out. Tyler Johnson out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. Johnson rolling out. Receivers are well covered. Johnson on the run, floats it into the end zone. It's deflected and complete.
Johnson is a risk taker, isn't he? He's just taking shots blindly down the field. But in that situation, you applaud the shot down the field because worst case scenario, they intercept the ball. They're inside the 10-yard line, maybe a touchback, 20 at best. But you don't like to see him developing a habit of throwing back across his body over the middle of the field.
Oh, wait a minute. They're saying that was third down, and now it's fourth down. But the intentional grounding was a loss of down. Did we miss something here?
Apparently, because either that or we have a Missouri fifth down situation to where, they're going to get another shot at this. It looks as if, wow, they get another shot.
Okay. Fourth and goal, 29 yards away from the end zone. Timeout called, or flag comes in as the play clock wound down to 0. So it's a 5-yard penalty on a delay of game.
Fifth and goal right now. I think this one is a miss by the referees who has done a great job all game. And a classic situation where the yardstick may be influencing this decision. I thought at the end of the day, it's a 15-yard spot foul and loss of down.
Right. I thought you had 2 plays run after that, and that was it, right?
Right. And so now, at least they're punting on fifth down.
Joe McMahon will punt. Low punt. Alfred can't get out of its own way right now, and McMahon is hit back at the 50. Now knocked back to the 49-yard line. Well, once the punter muffs the ball, he becomes a live player, so you can hit him like you would anyone else. And Fitchburg State gets the ball with terrific field position.
Just a cascade of errors right there by Alfred. You start at the inside the 10. The punter wanted to punt the football but left the ball on the ground, picked it back up and got sandwiched by the Falcons defense. But again, inside the 10-yard line, and you now have a turnover on downs at the 50.
This could be a turning point. Delkey back on the field for Fitchburg State. They trail 8-7. Handoff, Garvin to the 45. Gain of 4.
You see the Falcons going right back to what worked on the last series, running inside with Garvin. Now, I like that approach. Again, you're not down by a lot. You're down by 1. You can still stick with your game plan. And they came in with the game plan of trying to be balanced, and this is their MO, or has been their MO for the whole season.
After that reception by Casey right down at the 6, the last thing I thought would be Alfred giving the ball up back at the 50-yard line. Garvin off tackle right side. That's good for a first down. He stopped at the 36, 9-yard gain.
I mean, right now they're getting a lot of movement. You look at Braun and Verdot up front, the 2 guards. They're clearing space. You see right here, this is coming right down the A-gap. Boom, good movement up front. A huge lane for the running back.
Garvin, a shifty move, but Alfred, they key right in on him. And he's dropped back for what looks to be a 1-yard loss.
I know you don't want to be too greedy right here, but if you're Devin Gates, the offensive coordinator for Fitchburg State, now you want to take your shot deep down the field. You've worked the running game. Your play action pass, I think, at this point, can be effective. Especially you see the matchups right here. You look in the slot. Number 9 is sitting right there. One-on-one coverage. Safety is tilted toward the middle of the field. Might be an opportunity to go deep.
Delkey, after Wallace made that last tackle. Backpedaling, here comes the pressure. It's caught. the tailback, Allmore, at the 30-yard line. Gets through a man. Nice run by Allmore, yards after the catch, and Fitchburg continues to move here on this drive. First down.
Yeah, the senior Jordan Allmore right there on the screen. Well-designed play call right there to combat the pressure. Great job breaking the tackle in space. That's a tackle that Alfred normally has made throughout the course of this game. Allmore breaks the tackle, gets the first down. It's a good stop right there by number 11, Jared Watkins. He didn't miss that tackle. Minimal gain right there. Loss on the play.
First down at 10. Actually, excuse me. Second down at 13. Fitchburg State at its own 28-yard line. Man in motion to the far side. Here's the handoff. Nice run up the gut to the 21-yard line.
Yeah, they're doing something right now up front to where it's making it hard for Alfred to get off a block. What you're going to start to see is them start to cheat up a little bit, bring that extra safety in the box, try to help stop the run. They're getting gashed right now down the middle of their defense.
It's Javon Brown-Simpson with the gain. Third down and 6 from the 21. Delkey out of the pocket. Takes the snap, throws over the middle. Catch, dropped. Alfred pounces on it down at the 2-yard line. The intended receiver was Taylor Ekstrom. Looked to be incomplete. He didn't make that so-called football move as the ball fell out of his hands. And that makes it a 4th down and 6 for Fitchburg State, and here comes the field goal unit.
A nice throw over the middle of the field. You got to make that catch. We've seen way too many drops by these receivers over the middle of the field, which have derailed drives for the Falcons.
4th down and 6 from the 21. This is a 38-yard attempt for Ludwig. For the lead, with 1:47 remaining in the third quarter. Snap is down. Kick has the distance. End over, and it is good. And Fitchburg State takes a 10-8 lead.
That's exactly how you want to end the drive. You know, capitalizing on the short field, capitalizing on the mistakes that Alfred made. You drive down the football field and kick a field goal. Now you have the lead. Now you put your aggressive defense back on the field. Can they get a quick stop? This is a turning point. That play you mentioned was a real turning point. The intentional grounding and also now the punt being tackled at the 50-yard line. And great job by the Falcons capitalizing on those mistakes.
Guard Lab is a revolutionary new mouthguard company. Guard Lab uses neuromuscular sports dentistry combined with the latest in 3D scanning and 3D printing technology to create what we believe to be the most accurate, comfortable, and performance-improving mouthguards on the market. Revolutionize your game with Guard Lab. Perform, protect, recover. Back to return for Alfred, Stephen Almond, and Jaden Gavidia. As Ludwig will kick after the field goal. And Fitchburg State now has a 10-8 lead. They've hung in, give them credit. 38-yard field goal capping a drive. It took 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Well, Gavidia out past the 20-yard line. Has some room on the sideline. Gets over a man out near the 40-yard line. Nice return.
Yeah, he made about 3 guys miss in space right there, just grabbing that air. And again, that's why you have guys that can make things happen on your special teams, whether it be a kickoff returner or a punt returner, doing a great job right there. Again, creating a short field. Now you're only 60 yards away from putting points up on the board, whether it be a touchdown or even closer for a field goal.
Here come the Saxons after a disastrous drive. Casey Bright made a terrific reception down at the 7-yard line, and it seemed as if Alfred would extend its lead, and everything went wrong, ultimately resulting in a turnover at midfield on a failed punt. Now the Saxons find themselves on their heels with 1:34 remaining in the third quarter. Tyler Johnson with a man in motion to the right. Lateral pass. Brendan Bish knocked back. Vicious hit by the Fitchburg State defense, and they're fired up.
Yeah, I would definitely keep an eye on that play. You saw something in what they did and how they ran it. I wouldn't be surprised later on in the game you'll see Bish throw the football on that play.
Looked like he was going to step back for a second. 2nd down and 12 from the 39. Alfred has lost its way. They trail 10-8 with 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. Play clock approaching 10. Johnson looking up and down the line. Play clock at 6. Takes the snap, dropped back, now takes it himself. Follows a block, and a nice gain by Johnson out to the 48-yard line, a 9-yard run.
I like that play right there by Alfred, and what you've seen them do is get back to what has worked, their run game. So why not put the football in the hands of one of your best athletes, your quarterback, or run a quarterback power, and just run him right down the B and C gap and allow him to have success. Now you just created a third and manageable situation for your offense, in which you're probably going to take this into the fourth quarter.
Luis Feliz, linebacker, subject of our pregame conversation, made the tackle for Fitchburg State. 3rd down and 3. Big conversion here for the Saxons. They trail 10-8 with 7 seconds remaining in the quarter. Play clock matching the game clock. Johnson rolls out near the sideline, doesn't have anything, and he won't get the first down. In fact, he's knocked back for a 1-yard loss.
What a way to end the quarter. Dominating performance by Fitchburg State, and you wonder if that play is going to come back and bite Alfred in the butt on the back end.
Feliz again, and that ends the third quarter. Terrific ball game out of Root Field at Central Connecticut State University. Fitchburg State with a 10-8 lead, taking the lead on a Ludwig field goal from 38 yards away. Should be a good fourth quarter. We're back after this. You're watching ECAC football on ECACsports.tv. Let's start the fourth quarter out of Root Field. Fitchburg State 10, Alfred 8, and Emory. We spoke about this during the break, but that drive where Alfred literally went from the 7-yard line back to the 50 on a series of miscues could come back to bite them.
Yeah, this is why coaches break things.
McMahon, an end over end punt. It's fielded at the 19-yard line. Terrific job by the Alfred special teams unit. Gavidia racing in and making the tackle, so Fitchburg State starts and they have an opportunity now to extend the lead. I mean, it's really inconceivable to think how they went 44, 43 yards back.
Again, if you go check the press box, the coach's box after this game, this is why you see footprints on the ceiling. You know, coaches go crazy because of these things. You preach all week about mental errors and mental mistakes that cost you football games, so we see them in this game rear its ugly head and cost Alfred a lot of yardage and potentially points.
Fitchburg State with the ball, 212 yards of offense. Delki 13 of 29 for 117 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Not much of a game on first down. Delki also the leading rusher for Fitchburg State, 7 rushes for 41 yards. 10-8, Falcons leading the Saxons. Early moments, fourth quarter.
And the big stat right here that we're looking at is 1 out of 10 on third down is Alfred offensively. So that right there will keep you down in a lot of ball games.
3 receivers right, 1 left. Delki out of a shotgun. Here's the handoff. Javon Brown-Simpson. Out past the 20, up to, let's say, the 23. 2 yards.
I do like how the Saxons defense, especially on the inside, have come out on this drive and stopped the inside run. Now you see 3rd and long for Fitchburg State.
Five of 13 for Fitchburg on third downs. Alfred just 1 of 10 on third downs. Fitchburg State with the ball. They lead 10-8. Offense has been at a premium in this game. Delki back to throw. Hits his receiver in the flat. That's Almore, the tailback. And he's out of bounds, just shy of the 30-yard line. Let's call it the 27. He needed 6. He got 4. Or did he get the first down? Let's see. It all depends on where he got out of bounds. I guess he did get the first down. The chain crew went to spot the ball at the 28, but they say he got to the 30, so it's a first down and 10, nearly 2 minutes in, fourth quarter. Brown-Simpson, just shy of the 35-yard line. He's stopped.
Yeah, Alfred sold out on an inside run right there, and Simpson bounced to the outside. Had one man to beat, but he slipped down. Turf Monster got him, and just a great overall play. Being in position to make that tackle if he hadn't slipped was number 11 out there on the corner.
Just a gain of a yard. Second down and actually 2 yards. Gain of 2 yards on the play. Second down and 8, Fitchburg State at its own 32. Delkey back to throw on the run. Hits his receiver. Not much of a gain. Again, a couple of yards out there, maybe to the 34-yard line. That was Stamil.
And A.J. Licata on the tackle. Once again, I'm again very impressed with the coverage of these linebackers here. Licata and Wallace have done a great job. Whitehead has done a solid job versus the run, the other two versus the pass. But great display of the second-level talent Alfred has on their defense.
Third down and 6, Fitchburg State at its own 34-yard line. Play clock approaching 10. Delkey calling for the ball, takes the snap, pocket closing in, airs it out, well overthrown of his intended receiver. That was Ty Spencer, fourth down.
And you saw what happens when you don't get enough air on the football. Again, it comes out flat line. But with that said, you do allow the defensive back the ability to recover and drive on a football, which is why you saw that play nearly being picked off by Alfred.
Ludwig to punt. Gavidia to return for Alfred. So Fitchburg State's drive stalls. Ludwig standing at his own 20. Not much pressure. Low end over end kick. Bad kick. And it's going to take an Alfred bounce. It'll go out of bounds, and the Saxons now get the ball back with fantastic field position. That was a tough kick right into the wind.
Yeah, that kick went right off the side of his foot and went straight left. And so you want Alfred to come out right now. And you look at the quarterback, Johnson. You know, looking at his statistics so far, he's 3 out of 12 for 36 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, granted, he has had some big plays at times throwing the football, but for the most part, it's been his running because he has over 82 yards on the ground. But I think this drive is where you're going to have to see that passing game come to life.
Tyler Johnson, as Casey Bright races off the field. Alfred in danger, getting a penalty for too many men on the field. Johnson takes it himself, evades a tackler across the 45 to the 40, has a first down. He's run out of bounds. Well into Fitchburg State territory. He's out at the 34-yard line, a 16-yard run for a first down.
And he's done a great job in utilizing Malike Fuentes as a lead blocker once he gets out there on the perimeter. And again, when you have a guy that can run like this, Tyler Johnson, why not just put the football in his hands and have him make a play? See Fuentes out there getting a good block. Almost a good block, but did enough to shield the defender from making a play.
Bish near side right, receiver tight left. Here's the handoff. It goes to Fuentes running around the line. Sweep to the right side to the 25-yard line. 9-yard pickup.
Yeah, they're working the perimeter of that defense right now, the Falcons, and they're having success. Left, right, doing a great job and forcing these guys to cover sideline to sideline. When you have speed like Alfred does, it's tough to defend because, again, you have to be in position, so you start to cheat, and that's when they start to open up the middle of the defense.
Errol Bennett with the tackle. Trevor Monk's range from the 20 and in. He's their field goal kicker. Second down and 1 from the 25. Alfred trailing 10-8, 10:39 remaining in the game. Johnson takes it. Not much of a gain, if anything. Stopped at the 25-yard line. No gain on the play. Third down and 1.
Luis Feliz once again on the play. Not fooled by the influence motion, going with the jet sweep outside. Stayed inside and made the play right there at the line of scrimmage.
Third and a short yard for the Saxons. They line up in a tight formation. Casey Bright, the tailback. Play clock was never reset. Now it starts. Of the Saxons line up again. Here we go. Fitchburg State loading up in the box defensively. Play clock at 10. Third and a short yard. Johnson calling for the ball. 5 seconds on the play clock. Man in motion. Here's the handoff to the near side. Casey Bright is stuffed at the 35. Let's see. I don't think he got it. Looks short from this distance. The ball came loose, but Bright was down on the ground. If the ground can't cause a fumble, he didn't get the yardage he needed, and it's a 4th down and a short yard with 9:38 left to go. Alfred trailing 10-8. Again, this just outside of Trevor Monk's field goal range. Now let's see what the Saxons do.
And Malcolm Brown-Simpson right there making the play in the backfield. That's exactly what you want to see from your defense. Playing with pride, staying aggressive, and making a stop.
Alfred going for it. Tyler Johnson with 10 on the play clock. See if he tries to draw Fitchburg State off with a hard count. Clock stops, or it stops at 9:09. Was a timeout called? Seems like a timeout was called. I didn't see a definitive signal from Mark Mesnick, the official. Now Mark Mesnick comes out. Now he's going to walk towards the Alfred sideline. This might be a clock issue that we're looking at. I didn't see a timeout called, did you?
It looked like we called timeout by Fitchburg State.
Both teams head back onto the field now. I saw him raise his arms up in the air like it was some sort of clock issue. 9:06 remaining. 4th down and 1 for the Saxons. At the Fitchburg State 25 instead of the field goal. They're going for it because this is out of Trevor Monk's range. Play clock approaching 10. The sweep around the left side. Fuentes. Very close. I don't know if he got it. I don't think he did, judging by the Fitchburg State reaction. The linesman walking in along the 35. He needed to get inside the 25.
Yeah, this is real close. You're going to have to measure this. This is a big play of the game right here for both teams.
Well, judging by the spot, this is very close. He needed to get to the south side of the 24-yard line, and that's where the ball is right now.
Fitchburg State makes this stop. You're going to see this sideline and this section of fans over here go nuts.
This is critical for this point in the ball game. With 8:41 left. Alfred just outside of field goal range going for it. On 4th down, you already see the Fitchburg State players reacting. The measurement comes down. And Alfred gives it up on downs. They're just short.
Yeah, great job once again. You know they're going to run the football. Alfred came out in a we are about to run the football formation and did a great job stopping them, knowing what was coming. What an adjustment has been made by Fitchburg State coming out of halftime. We've seen a totally different football team on both sides of the ball.
Offense has been at a premium. You can understand Alfred going for it because if they attempt the field goal and miss, Fitchburg State would start where the ball was actually held down. So now Alfred's going to rely on its defense. Here's a nice run on 1st down by Javon Brown-Simpson out to the 30-yard line, 5 yards on the play.
Now you start working on the clock. You want to start right now getting into your 4-minute offense and shrinking this ball game and forcing Alfred then to break their own tendencies in throwing the football, which they haven't done with a lot of success.
Fitchburg State with the ball. They lead 10-8. The difference, the Ludwig 38-yard field goal. 2nd and 5, Falcons on their own 30-yard line. The snap, Brown-Simpson across the 30. Driven back. Shy of the 1st down, we know that. He's between the 32 and the 33. Brings up a 3rd down and short.
And you look at the Falcons' offensive choices in this particular play, on this particular play, they haven't had success throwing over the middle of the field. Everything they have had success has come down on the sideline or in the flat. So you may see a quick out or a quick pop pass to one of their slot receivers or maybe to the backs to try to convert this 1st down.
A.J. Licata, the tackle. 3rd down and 3 from the 32. Alfred's defense looking for a stop and an opportunity to get the ball back. They trail 10-8. Here's a quick throw over the middle. Incomplete pass. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Looked to be Ty Spencer. And that makes it a 4th down. So Alfred now, barring something wacky, will get the ball back and an opportunity to take the lead.
So many drops by the receiving core of the Falcons. It costs you. You got to make that catch if you're the receiver. I don't care if it was away from your body or if it was a little bit high. You have to find a way to bring that ball in and convert that 1st down. That was a big play that was missed by Fitchburg State.
Ludwig to punt. Jaden Gavidia to return. End overhead kick. Gavidia doesn't play it. It takes a Fitchburg State bounce at the 39-yard line. Punt of just 29 yards.
Yeah, Alfred has momentum coming into this series right here. They can lean on their ground game. Their passing game, I believe, can be effective. They just can't go for the home run ball every time. You look at that running formation they had on the last series with the double tight end, no one out wide. They may come back to that and throw out of that formation later on in the series if they're able to have success.
7:14 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Alfred trailing 10-8. Casey Bright, the tailback, with a significant gain on first down. He's taken down at the 48-yard line, 9 yards on the play.
Yeah, he took the Trey Beltran expressway, rolled the back of that guard, pulling a route into the hole, leading him in, and was able to make the play, make a big gain on first down. You see right here, they led with the fullback, pulled the guard backside. Just a great run.
Luis Feliz, the tackle. Second down and 1. Alfred at its own 48-yard line. Johnson takes the snap. Here's the handoff. Casey Bright once again moves the pile forward. First down. He reaches the Fitchburg State 49.
And now you start to see the offensive line do their part in what made them successful early on in this ball game, just blowing Fitchburg State off the ball. At this point, they have to regroup if you're the defensive side of the ball and realize what made you successful on that last series. You got off blocks, you made stops at the line of scrimmage, but right now Alfred is taking control of the line of scrimmage.
Pedro Camillo, the tackle. First and 10, Saxons at the Fitchburg State 49. Alfred trailing 10-8 as we approach the 6-minute mark. Johnson hands off to Bright. Bright grinding it out on the ground. They keep going to him, but the Saxons have been rewarded as he takes it inside the 45 to the 44. Another nice gain on first down, 5 yards.
Yeah, same play we saw on first down where they pulled Trey Beltran, the right guard, around and led him into the hole with the fullback. You see right here on the replay, he's doing a great job getting around and getting that kick-out block, which created the lane for Bright to run through.
Camillo, the tackle. Second and 5. Alfred from the 44-yard line of Fitchburg State. Saxons just need a field goal to take the lead. The magic number is 20. That's the 20-yard line for Trevor Monk. That's where he needs to be comfortable. 5:27 left to go. On the option, Johnson takes it himself. Out near the marker. First down as he gets close to the 35-yard line. Looks to be a gain of 8 on the play. They'll move the chains.
Watch on this replay. Watch the right guard, number 61. Come around. Find someone to block. Fine work, young man. Boom, getting him on the ground. Nice job out there. They're running behind him very often on his drive. I would, too, because he's doing a great job blocking.
5:02 remaining. Alfred trailing 10-8, but driving. They need about 15 more yards for a reasonable Trevor Monk field goal try. Johnson hands it off. They go to Bright once again. No, it's an option. Tyler Johnson out near the sideline. He's run out of bounds. Fitchburg State biting on the option. I got bit too, as Johnson now takes it deep into Fitchburg State territory.
And once you run successfully with the running back you then are able to then pull the football out. They're all sucked inside watching Bright run the football while Johnson was able to take it around left end and pick up a huge gain.
Closing in on a reasonable distance for Trevor Monk. 4:31 left to go. Receiver out to each side. On the near side, Brendan Bish. On the far side, Fuentes. At a timeout called by Fitchburg State. They have one left now.
I think this was a good timeout by Fitchburg State because you have to regroup. Right now you're getting beat up front. You're not stopping the run. I don't know what happened to the run defense that we saw early on in this half, but good timeout. Get everyone to calm down. Preach fundamentals and get them back to basics and get a stop right here and force a field goal, which then keeps you in position to win this game if you're able to score.
Florida Graphic Services is a wholesale large format digital printing company founded in 2003 and has our 30,000 square foot climate controlled production facility. FGS is a leading manufacturer of corporate and special event promotional materials. Our services include but are not limited to graphic design, athletic graphics, custom printing, and custom installation. Visit us online at fgs2.com. What has propelled Alfred on this drive?
Oh, their running game, running behind Trey Beltran, the right guard, number 61, doing a great job getting outside, getting blocks. But you saw within that timeout, Scott Boyle, the defensive coordinator, pleading his case, his guys, like, hey, we were able to stop the run early in this game. We were able to stop the run in the second half. We have to get back to doing so right now, especially at this juncture.
Alfred looking for its first score since the early moments of the second quarter when Bish caught the 5-yard touchdown from Johnson in the 2-point conversion on the fake extra point. Robert Rankel, the head coach for Alfred, was out onto the field to chat about something with Mark Mesnick, the referee. First down and 10, Saxons at the Fitchburg State 22-yard line. Johnson faked the throw, takes it himself, avoids the wrap-up, goes forward just a little bit, and he's tackled at the 21. Just a 1-yard gain on the play with 4:15 left. Alfred 3 timeouts, Fitchburg State with 1 timeout remaining, and Alfred trails 10-8.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to lull Fitchburg State to sleep, but Bish only had that 1 target, which was a touchdown. They haven't gone back to him in this game. I think they have to find a way to get him involved in this passing game. He has one-on-one coverage, no safety help. Give him an opportunity to make a play.
Trevor Monk's longest field goal attempt this year has been 37. Or longest field goal make has been 37. Alfred closing in on that area. Here's a big run by Casey Bright, and Bright takes it down to the 12-yard line. And that's good for a Saxons first down. Alfred with all 3 timeouts left with 3:35 remaining in the game. And the Saxons trail by a score of 10-8. Clock running. Too early for Alfred to use the timeouts, especially because they're driving. And Fitchburg State now on its heels. Johnson calling for the ball. Plenty of time on the play clock. Miscommunication at the line, but Johnson able to recover, and he takes it himself down to the 10, just a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, what you don't want to see is them self-destruct in this situation like they did previously. That almost was a disaster right there. Just take your time. You're in a position of power. You're in field goal range. You have the offensive line play that's doing well, moving guys off the spot, but don't beat yourself if you're Alfred right now. Just take your time and execute your offense.
Trevor Monk warming up, taking practice kicks on the sideline. Second down and 9 from the 10. Alfred can get a first down without getting a touchdown here. Play clock at 7. Johnson takes the snap. Here's the handoff. It goes to Bright. Bright is stuffed at the 5-yard line.
And this is so tough to do if you're the Falcons defense, because what that zone read or read option is doing right now is forcing you to play hesitant. And if you're hesitant as a defense and not attacking downhill, you're going to find yourself getting blown off the football. And that's exactly what's happened in these last 2 drives by Alfred.
Alfred not using a timeout here because if they score, they want to leave as little time on the clock as possible for Fitchburg State. Fitchburg State not using a timeout because if they have to put their offense back on the field, they'd like to have 1 remaining. 7 on the play clock. Johnson out of the shotgun. A man in motion. Johnson will throw. Near side, bounces it, incomplete. Intended for Fuentes.
See, Alfred can't have nice things. This is why you want him to roll out to the same side and make it an easier throw. He stopped short and then tried to make a tougher throw. You got to help your own self out right there. Great play call. I love the speed out coming off the jet motion. But if you're Johnson, you want to roll out and try to help yourself out. Make that play shorter for you to make. Just stop short and just threw the football inaccurately.
It's a 22-yard attempt for Trevor Monk for the lead. Out of the hold of Bish. The snap down, the kick up on the way. It has the distance, and the kick is good. And Alfred takes an 11-10 lead with 1:37 left to go.
Most important thing from this drive from Alfred, the draining of the clock. Now you have 1:30 left. If you're the Falcons, 1 timeout, your offense has sputtered throwing the football, your receivers have dropped many passes. Can they get it all together and regain that spark they had to end the first half on this one drive that could win them the ball game?
As we take a second look at the kick, Some pressure from Teron Seaforth Howard, but Monk gets it off cleanly, and Alfred takes the lead. Their first points since the 14-15 mark of the second quarter on the Bish touchdown reception from Johnson. And Alfred has a 1-point lead with 97 seconds left to go. Fitchburg State gets the ball back with 1 timeout remaining.
And if you're Alfred, I know you're excited. I know you're just amped up. You took the lead, but you can't blow this kickoff by kicking it short or out of bounds. You have to make sure it gets deep and force them to drive the length of the field for the score.
All it will take is a field goal for Fitchburg State. Take the lead and potentially win this game. Here's the kick. End-over-end kick. It's going to bounce into the end zone and a touchback. So Fitchburg State will start in their own territory at the 25-yard line.
And if you're Fitchburg State, you have to realize you can't get it all in one play. You have 1:37 left, 1 timeout. You still have your entire game plan. You can work your short passing game. You can get everyone involved in the passing game. You don't have to rush anything at this point. All you need is a field goal to win. Don't try to be a hero and get it all on one play.
Chris Ludwig, his longest attempt this year, only 28 yards. Now that means Fitchburg State would need to get down to about the 15, the 10 for them to be comfortable. Here's the first pass of the drive, incomplete. And keep in mind, there's a stiff wind right in the face of Fitchburg State right now with 1:33 left to go.
And there's also a stiff linebacker right in the middle of that defense that has picked off 2 passes, so you want to avoid the middle of the field if you're Fitchburg State right now. Again, Corey Wallace has played a whale of a game. Don't throw his way. Attack the sidelines where you can get out of bounds and continue to save that timeout.
Delkey, the quarterback. Almore, the tailback. 3 receivers near side left. Here comes pressure. Dump off, caught. Almore makes the catch into the secondary across the 35, and he goes down at the 38-yard line. 13-yard pickup. Clock stops to move the chains. Fitchburg State with 1 timeout remaining. They'll get to the line once again for a Ludwig field goal. For Fitchburg State to be comfortable, they need to reach the 10-yard line. He does not have a long leg. Delkey dealing with pressure, gets away from a sack. Not the second time, though. He's brought down for a loss with 1:13 left to go.
Yeah, that's what you didn't want to happen right here. And they're not going to use a timeout. On the previous play, you want the receiver to try to get out of bounds and continue to conserve that timeout. But they're going for it right here.
Toby Hale with the sack. Delkey running out of pressure near the 40-yard line, and he's taken down there with 52 seconds left to go. And a timeout called. Fitchburg State is going to use its last timeout with 49 ticks left. Probably a wise move right there.
And you can't blame the ref. He doesn't move. He's part of the field, so you have to find ways to not run into the referee if you're Delkey. But good job tucking in running. But, again, the ref, you put him in a tough situation. So, again, if you're Delkey on this play, it's 3rd and 7. You just use your final timeout. You want to work the sideline, and you want to, again, try to move the football, but you want to go outside. Don't go over the middle of the field. If you do, you have to hurry up and spike the football. But you only need a field goal. So you're not trying to go deep down the field. You're trying to get the first down and keep the sticks moving.
This is 4-down territory, so Fitchburg State does not need to get all 8 yards right here. 49 seconds left.
Don't be a hero.
Fitchburg State, though, out of timeouts. They trail 11-10. Monk, the 22-yard field goal, with 1:37 remaining, giving Alfred the lead. Alfred's first point since 14-15 in the second quarter. 49 seconds left. Falcons out of timeouts. 3rd down and 8 from the 40. Man in motion to the near side. Delkey back to throw. Dumps it off, and the catch made well shy of the first down. In fact, maybe no more than a yard. Ty Spencer makes the catch. Clock running, 40 seconds left to go, and that brings up a 4th down. And this is it right here with 34 seconds left to go. They need to reach the 48-yard line. Now a man down for Alfred, and that stops the clock with 28 left.
Yeah, and that play that they just ran, you saw it set up perfectly for the cornerback just to obliterate the receiver, but and you want to go to the sideline. You see right here, let's run it. We're running it back right now. You saw that swing screen set up. Wham! Just hit him right in the stomach. He catches that one, but he drops some easy ones. throughout the course of the game, and you rather him drop that one and save some time. But now you find yourself 4th down, 7 yards to go. Again, you don't need it all. You just need a first down. The clock stops as you move the chains, and it gives you a new shot at life, trying to get the winning score.
Michael Berardi will be helped off the field. The Classic Turf team specializes in the design and construction of sports facilities, including tennis courts, basketball courts, and running tracks. Classic Turf Company was the first to introduce post-tension concrete technology to the sports industry in New England and has pioneered its use in tennis and basketball court construction. Please visit them online for more information at classicturf.org. This is the game right here. 4th down and 7 for Fitchburg State. They're at the 41-yard line. They need to reach the 48 with 28 seconds left to go. They're out of timeouts, trailing 11-10. 3 receivers near side left, 1 right. Delkey out of a shotgun, rolling out. Here comes the pressure from Alfred. Nice block. Delkey on the run, throws it downfield. Catch made at the 32-yard line. And Fitchburg State has to get to the line fast. Trayvon Neal with the reception. Clock stops to move the chains. The chain gang right now very slow to get in position, and this is helping Fitchburg State get to the line with 18 seconds left. That is very slow. That chain crew has to move fast. They're taking a Sunday walk in the park as the ball is spiked down at the 32. I'm sorry. I don't mean to pick on the chain gang. They're faceless folks down there to us, but it's a situation where essentially Fitchburg State had time to collect themselves and get to the line. They have to get down the field faster in that situation.
Exactly, and what a great play to get down there. All kind of things went haywire for Alfred on that situation. They couldn't get the sack. You got a key block. You couldn't break up the pass, but great job by Delkey staying alive. Nice block right there. That gave him the time to set up and fire the football down the field.
After the spike, 2nd down and 10. Delkey takes the snap. Throws it deep down the left sideline. Incomplete. Intended for Trayvon Neal, the senior wide receiver. 3rd down and 10 with 10 seconds left to go.
Yeah, they went for the touchdown right there. You don't have to, but again, I understand. But now it's 3rd down. Can you get a little bit closer for the field goal?
Now Ludwig, his longest kick this year is 28 yards, but if that's the last shot that Fitchburg State's going to have, of course they're going to go for the win in that situation. With 10 seconds left, Delkey out of his shotgun. Fitchburg State out of timeouts, trailing by a point. Man in motion. Delkey will throw. Quick pass. Catch made at the 20-yard line. Trayvon Neal with the reception. He's out of bounds with 6 seconds left in the game.
Heck of a play by Trayvon Neal. Had the wherewithal to catch the football inbounds and then get out of bounds, which is important. 6 seconds left. You get your kicker out there, and he has a chance to be the hero on campus.
Here's Chris Ludwig. He'll attempt from 36 yards, angle to the right with 6 seconds left to go. Fitchburg State trailing 11-10. Ludwig's longest attempt, 28 yards. At a timeout called by Alfred as they look to ice the kicker.
This has been a great game, man. You've seen a lot of mistakes made by both teams, but you've also seen the mental toughness and the stick-to-itiveness by Fitchburg State to fight back and be in a position to win.
Had a little bit of everything, that's for sure.
Absolutely. You see right here on the play that got them down there in position. Great block by the running back, cleared the lane. Nice setup throw. Receiver fought back to the football. That's exactly what you want to see. And it's the same receiver, number 4, that made the play just a few minutes ago to get them in position to kick this game-winning field goal. Trayvon Neal has played a well of a drive, fighting back for that reception and also doing a solid job in getting out of bounds on this previous play.
This is your game right here because if there's a bad snap and the ball comes loose, clock will run. Fitchburg State out of timeouts. Ludwig for the win with 6 seconds left.
I mean, you look at the fans right here for Fitchburg State. They're on their feet. No one is sitting down. They're jumping up and down. They're ready to go. They're ready to cheer their football team if they kick this field goal. But if you're the kicker, icing, there's no different. I think, when teams say, okay, we're going to ice the kicker, we're going to call timeout, have him think about it, there's no greater pressure than the pressure of the immediate moment. You don't want to take a timeout, have him calm down. You want to just let him kick it right off the sideline.
Now, Alfred took another timeout. Now, is that an NFL rule? Is that only an NFL rule where you can't take back-to-back timeouts? Because they just used 2, and they have 1 left. Apparently, they're allowed to do that.
Yeah, you might see another one. I mean,
what's to stop them if that's allowed? This is for the game. 36 yards away. Ludwig, angled to the right. The snap is clean. The kick is blocked. It's loose. Alfred going after it. 1 second left to go. Time expires, and the Saxons will escape with an 11-10 victory. Ludwig's kick was blocked, and the Saxons win the Robert M. Scotty Whitelaw Bowl. The final score of the Saxons 11, Fitchburg State, the Falcons 10.
Gotta love the emotion of college football. You see right there the thrill of the victory, the agony of defeat on 2 separate sidelines. But once again, great game, great opportunity for these young men to play in a bowl game to end the season. You hate that one team had to lose on a blocked field goal, but credit Alfred for not giving up, playing great special teams and getting that block.
What went wrong on that attempt?
It's just penetration, man. It breaks down everything. You see these guys got great push on the inside, which allowed them to collapse the room for this kick to get air, and they were able to get their hands up and block it. Boom, right there.
Well, for the Saxons, Shaheen Wingate coming down with the ball, and that seals the Alfred victory. This was a thrilling ball game, Emory. Where do you start?
I mean, what a way to close out this bowl championship week with a game that came down to the final play. I mean, I was just excited to see the enthusiasm from these guys and their fans, hoping this kick went through. From Alfred, you saw these guys have the mental toughness to maintain that composure and get the job done and close out this game.
Alfred taking the lead on the Monk field goal, 22-yard kick with 1:37 remaining in the game. Their first points in more than 2 quarters, and ultimately the Saxons able to stop Fitchburg State as the Falcons driving down the field with no timeouts remaining, and Ludwig's field goal attempt is blocked, and that seals it for Fitchburg State. Alfred wins the game, 11-10. Before we go, let's talk about Corey Wallace, the linebacker, who came up with 2 interceptions today. We shouldn't forget about him.
Yeah, in my opinion, he's the player of the game. That killed 2 drives by Fitchburg State and got the football back for their offense. Again, every possession you saw ultimately was premium in this game, and when you have a linebacker that's able to play all 3 downs and not come off the field because he excels in the pass defense department, that says a lot about what he brings to the table, and was just a key part to this game, and in my opinion, a defensive player of the game.
Emory, before we say goodbye, what are your lasting impressions from this weekend? 6 games complete. We called them all. What do you think?
You did a great job. I'll give you that right there.
Well, thank you.
Awesome
Likewise
job by
you.
But just a great event overall by the ECAC. I love that all 12 teams came to one location to play. We had great games throughout, great talent, great coaching. So I was just impressed overall by what we've seen in one spot in a matter of 3 days.
Yeah, just a terrific job by the ECAC, Dr. Kevin T. McGinnis, Steve Bamford, Lori Mazza, John Rollins, and Megan O'Brien among the folks that put together a wonderful event and one that we look forward to for years to come. Well, we wrap up the weekend. Alfred 11, Fitchburg State 10, and Emory, it was the first time we had the pleasure of working together, but I enjoyed working with you. I hope we get to do it again.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it myself, and just great working with you and also the PAC Network and this production crew. A lot of fun here, a lot of great things we've done over the course of 3 days. So I'm excited about – I want to see more football. We don't have another game?
No games. We called a half a season in 3 days. So Alfred wins 11-10. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Emory Hunt, and the entire PAC Network crew, led by Alec Palmer, who did a fantastic job, I'm Seth Cantor. Good evening from New Britain, Connecticut.